control the game with the ball in his hands.
And T.O. was not that last year. We saw him at times play last year, looked completely overwhelmed, overmatched. This year, he's really grown into that role, and give Dennis Gates a lot of credit for making
Dennis
the tough.
Gates, how about that?
Dennis Gates, he gets some Gates for the tough decision to, again, move Ant out of the starting lineup and put T.O. Barrett in.
I'm just glad he listened to me.
Well, I can't imagine that was an easy decision. I mean, that had to be tough, and he made it, and you got to give him credit for that. But, yeah, T.O. Barrett does. Little Jason Kidd, he can get you a lot of rebounds. He's 6'4". He's a bigger-bodied guy. I think at times last night he didn't realize there was a 6'7" guy on him. He got blocked at the rim 3 or 4 times. You're like, man, don't take that up. Don't take that up, but
he got a little lackadaisical on the pass that Tanner tipped in the air. I think Mizzou was an entire team.
Yeah, they got it was weird.
Yeah.
But he makes his free throws. He's starting to do the DeJuan Harris, where at least he has the threat of a 3-point shot. He went 2 of 5 again last night. Again, I'm not saying shoot 5 every single game, but when they're leaving you open, you got to take him to at least keep the defense honest, especially when you drive the way that he does. Again, I still think Trent Pierce and Jayden Stone have been the biggest difference, because ever since the Illinois game, that was the last time those two guys didn't play. Those guys got inserted back from injury and everything, and this offense looks completely different. Jayden Stone can hit some tough buckets. Trent Pierce hit some tough buckets. I think Trent Burns was a nice storyline.
Yeah.
Because that Sean Phillips played bad.
Dennis Gates said Trent Burns was the player of the game.
And I don't.
Having to step up and play the most minutes of his career in a big game like that, I can understand why he would say that he was the player of the game with what he did.
I thought Sean Phillips was bad, like real bad that game. He was fouling. He had the one dunk, which was nice, yay. But I just thought Sean Phillips was weak with the ball. I've actually been a Sean Phillips supporter the majority of the season, so this is a little weird for me, because I actually think he can be a guy that gives you good minutes. But I thought Sean Phillips had his maybe worst game as a Tiger this Vandy game.
Which is saying something.
But I thought Trent Burns gave you some really good minutes. The airballed 3 was semi-hilarious, because he does have a good-looking jumper, too, at 7'5". You're like, that's smooth. Wow, that was 3 feet off. But he got more rebounds than I expected. He made better defensive plays than I expected. He's not going to be the most laterally quick, even at 7'5", with not being a big-bodied guy. Little, what would you call it? Not a gazelle. The opposite of gazelle.
A sloth.
No. What? Like a baby giraffe. He's like a baby giraffe out there, and you still saw him affecting shots, especially down low. How many times did Tanner McKee or Tyler Tanner have to adjust because he didn't think he'd get the shot up over Trent Burns?
Yeah, that's what Dennis Gates said, his ability to affect shots on the defensive end against Vanderbilt. So a very big win for Mizzou last night. And if you look at the KenPom rankings, Missouri going into these last couple of games had 3 wins that were what he considers A matchups or B matchups, or just not even ranked matchups, not top 25 ranked, but he, gives a letter grade A and B. They had 3 on the entire season. They got 2 in the last 3 games. And they have 5 games remaining, and all 5 of them are A, according to KenPom. Like we said, they've got the toughest remaining schedule, because even the teams that they play that are, the lesser teams, both of those are on the road, at Mississippi State, at Oklahoma. They're at Arkansas. They've got 2 home games remaining. They've got 3 road games remaining. They've got 8 wins in conference right now. I think they need 2 more, depending on what 2 they are.
Sure.
But if you can go 3-2 the rest of the way, then I think you're in the tournament.
Yeah, I think pretty convincingly you're in
there. 11-7.
Yeah, if you go 2-3, I think you're on the bubble. You might be last 4 in, but if you got left out, you'd probably be disappointed. But you could at least semi understand. If you go 3-2, I think you're pretty firmly in without much conversation. To an earlier point, just real quick, I think you're right. The game is so hard to judge, because my frustration of the last 8 minutes really overshadowed my feeling of 30 minutes of the game, because the first 2 minutes were also atrocious.
That's a good point.
The first 2 minutes of the game, I thought Missouri looked slow, lackadaisical. Vandy brought it to him, and I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to get blown out at home. This sucks.
Back-to-back games.
And then they somewhat turned it around, and I go, okay, Jayden Stone hit a couple big threes, and that righted the ship. And okay. But so for 30 minutes of that game was some of the best basketball I've seen Missouri play all year long, defensively as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, again, first 2 minutes, last 8 minutes, Maybe the worst basketball I've seen him play. But that 30 minutes in between, I thought what was exceptional. And you see the high level they can play at, and you just want to see him continuously do that because when they're playing like that, they're so fun to watch.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. I want to get into Kansas and the dominant win last night at Oklahoma State. And that was a big one for Oklahoma State if they're trying to make the tournament. I mean, they're definitely on the outside looking in, but that would have gone a long way by knocking off Kansas. KU controlled the game throughout the entirety, but the storyline continues to be the same thing with Kansas. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. We'll get into the Rashee Rice situation and what it means for the Chiefs' offseason plans. I know you guys talked about this yesterday. The lawyer's statement I thought was interesting because of the specific date that he gave. So that adds an element to this, a pretty significant to me element to this. Mike Tannenbaum thinks the Chiefs should just move on from Travis Kelce. Craig Carton thinks the New York Giants are discussing bringing in Travis Kelce.
Yeah, that's
another New York Giants reporter said there's discussions in the building about Travis Kelce. Well, we know there aren't discussions in the building about the Epstein files there in New York. They're sort of ignoring that one, making sure people get it. Hey, we're talking about Travis Kelce around here, not the owner and what he's involved in. Anyway, and the Chiefs make a hire for a new safeties coach, but there's an interesting element of what he was doing the last couple of years that I wonder if the Chiefs go a certain route on defense. We'll talk about that. And Major League Baseball players still don't understand the economics of their own game, which is not surprising. We'll take a timeout. More Zone next. All right, man, if you're out there and you've had some issues with erectile dysfunction, then no need to wait around. Maybe it happened once and you laughed it off, maybe twice and you thought, oh, it's okay. Third time, fourth time, you know there's an issue. It's not typically something that is just going to heal or figure out the issues or correct itself on its own. It's something that you probably need.
And that's disappointing because he could have had a really big night. But one thing about it is it's happened often enough that our guys have learned to play without him, even though that's not the way we want to play. But that's certainly something that we're not unaccustomed to, right now.
I mean, it's the same thing. He leaves with cramps, and the frustrating, I think, part about this is, well, Michael, I'll bring you in, the resident KU fan. The sickness, hey, flu-like symptoms, those things happen. Trying to play through that is difficult. But it felt like it's been a while since it's been the cramps. And I'd have to imagine, if it was like a sprained ankle, it's like, that sucks, man, sprained his ankle. This guy can't catch a break. But when he asks out and it's because of cramps, my first thought was, here we go again. Like, if it's now back to this, then they clearly don't have a handle on it. When I thought maybe the last few weeks, maybe they got a handle on the cramping part of it. Flu-like symptoms, unfortunate ankle. He's had some bad luck. But it feels like the cramping thing's kind of been figured out, whether they're doing stuff in practice or whatever it might be.
Eating bananas.
Maybe that's pickle juice.
He just wanted to be like LeBron.
Right. What's your takeaway from last night when he asks out of the game, plays 18 minutes, has an amazing game while he's in there, and it's back to this story of the cramps?
It felt very similar to BYU. It felt like he made a business decision, and I'm at a point where if he's out there, great. If he's not, fine. I think you've seen over the past month and a half that it's always something, whether it's the flu, he's cramping, it's been a different thing almost every week. And I think that you heard in that press conference, Bill Self is getting looser and looser with his words. We would not have heard him say that a month ago. Mm-hmm. But I think that he even feels like, okay, it's getting to a point where I can't continue to defend what is going on. He's not going to come out and blatantly say he's faking it. And I don't think that he's fully faking it, but I also don't think he is fighting as hard as possible to be out there with his teammates. And one more thing. I think you saw it against BYU, you saw it against Oklahoma State, and there's been a couple other games along the list. Whenever Kansas is up big in the first half, he immediately goes out. I don't think it's a coincidence at this point.
That was one of my thoughts, too, and I'm glad you went there, was it felt like BYU, a big lead. You guys got it from here.
I did my job.
I put my 23 on the board. I did what I needed to do against A.J. DeBansa, and I'm good. And, second half, whatever. We're up by 20 at halftime. We're fine. You guys can go and figure it out. And it felt a little bit like that. All right, it's a 10-point game. It's getting a little closer. All right, here's a 3. Knocked it down. All right, I'm ready. Go ahead and get me out of the game, and you guys got it from here.
What's so frustrating is he's so damn good. Like, it's just insane. When you watch 23 points in 18 minutes, 6 of 10 from 3, the efficiency, it's just ridiculous. He is one of one. I mean, it is absurd to watch, and that, for me, is the most frustrating part is I just want to watch him play. Like, I just want to watch him play. The one pushback, not even pushback. Let's take the other side for a second here. I don't know if I firmly believe this at all, but I at least want to throw this out there. If he did have the flu, and let's say he does have cramping issues, like this is just something that apparently affects him. Like, he's always going to be a guy that might have to deal with cramps. Well, if he just had the flu, yeah, this might pop back up again. This would be the game that would probably, hey, you're coming back off of the flu. You're maybe not quite as healthy. Just your body's not going to be as strong. Yeah. And so maybe that's what it was. Again, I'm not trying to say that's exactly what it is, but I want to at least take the other side here. Because, again, he's – I don't know where Kansas goes from here with him because you clearly need him to play. I think you do. The Arizona game, I know that's going to be the pushback. That's at home. You're not playing at home in March. I think Allen Fieldhouse helped carry Kansas in that game. I think there's no denying that.
Yeah.
If you played Arizona a neutral site in March, if you tell me right now, do you want Darren or not? You want Darren. Mm-hmm. The issue is you can't do this in March, come out of the first half, think the game's out of reach, and then you blow it because you're not playing Oklahoma State in the tournament. You're playing good teams in the tournament, not a 4-9 Big 12 team.
Well, if it's the case that it's, he gets sick against Arizona, he plays against Iowa State 23 minutes, which you didn't really have to play him much of that once it got out of hand. And then 4 days later, he gets cramping because of what took place 9 days before and him missing a game because of sickness. Well, then I don't know how you play a heavy load on a Thursday or Friday and then return and play a heavier load on Saturday or Sunday, because that's a more difficult game in theory. Like if KU's a 3 seed, you would think the 14 seed, they'd be able to get past that. But then you got a 6 seed on Saturday or Sunday, and that's a top 25 team.
I don't know how. To me, I think he needs to play in March in the Big 12 tournament and show he can play back-to-backs, or at least 3 games in a row. Part of it is, I know people will say the NBA scouts, they don't care. They've seen enough. They see the talent. It's undeniable. But you don't want to get into a situation of, well, in the NBA, you're playing 3 to 4 games a week at times. Mm-hmm. What, you're going to have a rookie have load management and play 2 games a week? And I mean,
immediate comes into the league and he's already on a minutes restriction.
I mean, look what it does to like Kawhi Leonard and Joel Embiid and all. I mean, look around the NBA. I don't think teams want to deal with that. And maybe I'm wrong, but I can't imagine teams want to draft a 19-year-old who already has to be on a minutes restriction. What does that mean when he's 25?
Yeah.
What does that mean when he's 23?
I already told you, I don't think he's playing in the tournament. Maybe he get one game.
Yeah, you've been on record with that.
I think he is. It's going to be Joel Embiid. He is not going to play in the tournament, which, same agent, by the way. But.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see if that's the case. I just, man, with not playing in the tournament because of cramps is a little bit different than a back injury.
Correct.
For Joel Embiid, that would be more of a red flag, and I know the NBA won't care. So it's like, oh, it's college, but he's getting paid now.
Yeah.
It's different when you're getting paid. And I know that in the past, freshmen are sort of protected or whatever, if you want to call it, from speaking with the media. They're getting paid a lot of money to go to college. I think at some point, like, hey, is Darren Peterson available to talk ever? To explain?
And also, don't you think he would want to?
What's going on?
Like, wouldn't he want to?
Maybe.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
At least, no, I'm like saying, like what if you had all these issues, wouldn't you want to go up and say, hey, I know what this looks like, I understand the optics, but I'm all in. It's more frustrating for me than it is the fans. Like, wouldn't you want to at least get out in front and try and PR this thing at least a little bit? Like that to me is perplexing as well. Positive note for Kansas. Bryson Tiller to me is still like the X factor for this Kansas team. Against Arizona, phenomenal. They win. Against Iowa State, brutal. They lose. Against Oklahoma State, I mean, I thought he did a little of everything. What was it, 10, 11, and 7? I mean, Bryson Tiller's emergence this year as the season's gone on, when he's aggressive, when he takes over, he's a 6'10" wing almost. I mean, he's just... to me, Bryson Tiller will help determine how far Kansas goes.
And Bill Self said last night that Bryson Tiller, what do you say? He's so close to being a great player. Like, he's right there.
Yes, you see glimpses, man. You see it.
Yeah, to just figuring it all out. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. And, this freshman class this year has been unbelievably impressive. And we saw another version of that last night. And it sort of connects to what we're talking about with Kansas to a degree. We'll talk about the money that I think all of us would have lost if we were asked to place a specific bet as it relates to the freshman class that we've seen so far this year. We'll explain next.
We mentioned a little NBA right there, and I got some NBA news for you. Have you ever wanted to go to the NBA Finals? Well, I know I have. Well, now's your chance, courtesy of FanDuel. All you have to do is use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. If you've never been to an NBA game, they're electric. If you've never been to an NBA playoff game, it is even better. Even I have not gone to an NBA Finals game. Well, let's be real. I'm a Sixers guy. What am I going to do? Come on. They're always getting knocked out early. Kawhi Leonard ripping my heart out. But you have a chance to go, because NBA futures let you lock in your pick for who you think will go all the way, whether it's a team to win the championship or a conference title. All you need to do is go to FanDuel and visit FanDuel.com/local to get started, because play your game with FanDuel, an official sportsbook betting partner of the NBA.
Plus and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Limit 1 entry. For Profit Boost token opt-in required. Must apply Profit Boost token on select market. Restrictions apply. See full terms including methods of entry at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We'll talk with Kent Swanson coming up at 11 o'clock, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. Get his thoughts on the latest with the Chiefs, the Rashee Rice stuff going on, the statement by the lawyer that adds another element to the story and an interesting timing to it. I mentioned that before the season, a bet that would have been placed that we probably all would have lost. If I gave you an infinite amount of money that you could place a bet on, and of this freshman class, you place money on any player to be one of the 5 freshmen to drop 40 points this year in a game, would you have placed it on Darren Peterson? Maybe before the season started. Before the season started, one of the smoothest, easiest scorers out there, gets whatever shot he wants, dropped 40 consistently in AAU or whatever. Like, the guy is just a natural scorer. That would have been the money that I placed it on. Like, DeBonsa does a lot of different things. He can certainly score, but he does a number of different things in his game. But just pure scoring, it would have been Darren Peterson. Instead, it is not Darren Peterson. There have been 5 freshmen drop 40 points this year, with Acuff last night dropping 49 for Arkansas. Keaton Wagler dropped 46. Michael Brown Jr. for Louisville, 45.
Yeah.
DeBanza, 43 for BYU, and then Kingston Flemings for Houston scored 42 a few weeks ago. These are all since January 24th. It's 5 freshmen that have dropped 40 or more points in the last 3.5 weeks of basketball.
My thought would have been a Alabama freshman, because they score so many points. They just score so many points. I'm like, I don't know if they really have one.
Not a Houston, not somebody from Houston dropping
Houston,
24 points and 6 assists against Texas Tech as well on the road. But 5 different freshmen. 3 of those, by the way, were on the road. Acuff on the road, Wagler on the road, Flemings on the road.
Surprised Boozer hasn't.
Yeah.
I thought he would have been in there, just because he can almost physically dominate or be efficient.
Right, yeah. But, 40 points is a ridiculous number to get to in college basketball.
Oh, it's crazy.
Just crazy to do that. And there are 5 freshmen this year that have done that.
Cuff had 49 last night.
Yeah, 49 points. That's the record. That's the most points for a freshman against a ranked team. 49 points, that makes sense.
Pete Maravich never did.
Did
they not rank teams back in the day?
I'm not sure. Did it count as freshman if you couldn't play your freshman year?
I guess you're right. Yeah. There's probably some sort of.
Yeah. But there would have been probably a ranked team that he had like 49 and.
But you're right, because didn't Wilt same thing where you couldn't play on the play on the freshman team.
Yeah, so it's your freshman year was sort of your sophomore year, whereas now your sophomore year is kind of your freshman year, at least with the red shirt stuff that's going on. But it's just amazing. Like, I think there are games where Peterson would have dropped 40. BYU, it feels like he would have dropped 40. Oklahoma State
could have done it last night.
He could have dropped 40. Yeah. Like games where he gets off to a crazy start, like, okay, this is a 40-point night, a 30-point night. Like, this guy's going to drop 40-something points tonight. But also it's sort of connected to why we're seeing so many teams in the NBA tank, which is a big storyline this year, is because this is as gifted of a freshman class that we can remember, ever. Yeah. Like, again, you're talking about, DeBonsa's like one of the main ones that was talked about before the season in terms of the top draft picks, but there are 4 other guys in this class that have dropped 40 points. It's just, and Michael Brown did it in almost a triple-double. He had 9 rebounds and 10 assists with his 45 points. Needed 1 more rebound to have a 45-point triple-double in college. Like, just an absurd number. And Keaton Wagler was, he made, 9 threes in the game.
I will say I do think there's a clear-cut top 2. I think it's DeBansta and Peterson.
Yeah.
I think Boozer is a little intriguing. He's listed at 6'9", but he's not quite as gifted. I don't think, even athletically, as DeBansta, and then obviously as a scorer as Peterson. I think there's a clear-cut top 2 in my mind. Wagler's intriguing.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's big or quick enough for the next level.
I said his pacing of his game, not that he's this player, but the pacing of his game reminds me of Cade Cunningham.
100%.
That's
he's
a very good sudden or quick. It's just, I'm not saying he's that type of scorer either, but
yes,
he's just,
or the ability to get a triple-double at any given time, like Cade Cunningham.
Yes, but just the pacing in which he plays at, it seems like he's in a slower motion than others, yet still able to get to the spot, turn the corner at times. do some of those things. Like, he's still able to do that.
But it's not the last couple seasons where it felt like, yeah, you had Cooper Flagg, and then it was which way do you go? Or the year prior when it was the guy that Atlanta drafted from France. Zach, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. I mean, and he got sent to the G League. And then, I mean, you look around a couple of years ago, there was just, I mean, it was a brutal draft class. It's not that. This upcoming draft class looks very deep.
Yeah, against Baylor, Darren Peterson dropped 26 points in 23 minutes. BYU, 18 points in 20 minutes. And last night, 23 points in 19 minutes. Like, if he played the amount of minutes that Acuff played last night, playing like that in those games, then yeah. I mean, UCF, 26 points in 23 minutes. Like, his points per minute are off the charts. It's amazing what he's doing per minute basis out there. It's just getting the number of minutes in the game to drop those numbers is amazing. And Missouri will see Acuff this weekend as they head to Arkansas, one of the best scoring freshmen in America. So
please
we'll
don't
see.
don't do that to Mizzou.
You know what? He used 2 games worth of scoring last night against Bama. Let's just go with that. And by the way, Mizzou against Oklahoma, hitting the buzzer beater to end regulation and to end overtime, to be the exact opposite for Arkansas last night, that to end regulation, you've got the miss by Acuff.
Yeah.
And the putback by Richmond that missed to end regulation to win. And then in overtime, to tie it up, you've got the miss by Acuff and Richmond's putback that missed.
I think it was Ewing.
Was it Ewing this time? I thought it was Richmond both times.
I thought it was Ewing. I could be wrong. I thought it was Ewing.
Either way, I thought it was Richmond both times, but either way, you have the opportunity to get just an easy layup on the putback. The first one was a little more difficult. The second one was right there. Just drop it in. There's no reason to try to dunk it. You're up there. Just, drop it in. If you don't think you're going to be able to dunk the ball, like, you got to let it go. The ball is above the rim.
Yeah.
All you got to do is let go. Instead, you tried to pull it down and dunk, and it bounces off the back of the rim and ends, 20 feet the other way, and the game is over. But twice they had a miss and a putback that could have been a layup to either win or tie it to force a third overtime. Often Acuff miss, in which he sort of got to a spot and then, couldn't find a way to get it down. But we'll see what this weekend looks like for Mizzou as they head to Arkansas for that, 3 o'clock game on ESPN.
I am going to lose my mind
Okay.
if Auburn gets in over Missouri. I've seen talks of how Auburn's had this brutal schedule, but I'm like, you're 5-8 in the SEC. You're 14-12. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
At some point, winning has to. I mean,
they've lost 5 consecutive games.
They have, and I still see them on the same basically line as Missouri. And I'm like, well, also Missouri beat Auburn. I don't get how this is much of a conversation.
Right. They've lost 5 games, including last night losing to Mississippi State. Missouri beat Mississippi State. I know road, home, all of that stuff. Auburn was on the road. Missouri will go to Mississippi State, but it's still like, non-conference, Missouri wasn't great. Auburn has a win against St. John's and NC State in non-conference, but that's really it. And in conference play, like you said, they're 5-8 right now.
I just will never understand that one. And A&M at this point now too. It's not the A&M win's not looking quite as good for Missouri. Obviously,
yeah. Luckily, they knocked off Mississippi last night.
It was, and they took
everything
they had.
Yeah,
everything they had. Ole Miss choked that one away.
Yep. But it's like, luckily you got that win.
Yeah.
Because if not, it would look a little bit worse. The Florida win looks better and better.
Florida win looks great.
As
Kentucky
the season
win
goes along.
looks really solid too.
Yep.
The Auburn win, as I mentioned, has fallen down. We thought that was going to look a little better, but now it's same line.
Yeah. You need, if you're talking about that, you need Kentucky to go to Auburn on Saturday and win.
Hey, how about K-State? Doing it for Driscoll.
That's right. And Scott Drew.
I was like saying berries, Driscoll, berries.
Yeah.
Driscoll's berries. Yeah,
Sure. I'll take your word for it. Yeah, I mean, I'll take
the
your
company.
Word for it. Yeah, no, I got it. Clever. If that's what you want to go with, that's perfectly fine too. You know who's clever? Ken Swanson, next.
Kent Swanson of KCSN is brought to you by Dick Ray Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Are you planning to spend money on a new AC or furnace repair this year? Dick Ray can help. Show us a 2025 HVAC repair invoice from any company and we'll credit that amount towards a new system up to $2,500. Call 913-DICK-RAY or go to dickray.com for details.
All right, talking with Kent Swanson here, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast here in the Zone on this Thursday edition. Kent, what's up, brother? How you doing? Welcome to the show, man.
Great to talk to you, Jason. Hope you are recovering from Radio Row a couple weeks ago.
You know, that's what it was. It was the Radio Row issue from a couple of weeks ago, and yes, I think I am hopefully back to full speed now. I haven't worn the shirt yet. I meant to wear it last Monday, or at least Monday earlier this week. I got a shirt there. They passed them out to different people that said, I survived Radio Row, and all I got was this shirt. Okay, I'll wear it. Yeah, they're like, hey, you want this? I'm like, yeah, I'll take a shirt. Even if I mow the lawn in it, I'll take a shirt. That's fine. I'm a shirt hoarder. All right, I'll hoard shirts and just throw them in a big old bucket out in the garage that I'll just grab. It's like, oh, time to mow the lawn. Here's the bucket of clean shirts. Here's the bucket of dirty shirts. Throw that one in the clean shirt, put it on, and go mow the lawn, do some yard work. That's fine. And then everybody will be driving by and go, oh, that's funny. Maybe. I'm not sure.
I'm going to say that's one less present you have to bring your kids home from your travels, if you play the game right.
Well, that's the thing is I didn't have to get them anything because the Golden State Warriors came around to every table and gave out the hosts of every single table a gift bag. And in the gift bag was Steph Curry's book that says Shot Ready. And it's a massive, massive book. And then they also gave us the Sacramento Kings Valkyries opening season for the WNBA and women's basketball. And I'm like, perfect. Boy, girl, done. Gifts, done. We can do our reading. Here you go, son, Steph Curry. Here you go, Jules, WNBA, women's basketball. Done and done. So that was great. I appreciate the Golden State Warriors for doing that. My son's a big Steph fan. So, he's... all of the kids his age are Steph Curry fans. Everybody's shooting threes. It's weird how that's happened. I was way ahead of the game, Kent, way ahead of the game.
Same.
So,
Same.
shooting nothing but threes in the late 90s.
We were in the wrong era,
yes.
Jason.
I was trying to tell everybody, the calculus makes sense. If I'm shooting threes and that guy's shooting twos, why don't you let me hit 40% of my threes out here? No, you're 6'3" as a freshman. You've got to play post. Yeah, okay. That's where the game's going, certainly. Kent Swanson is our guest, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. All right, let's start with it and get it out of the way, and a number of other things to talk to you about with this Chiefs team. But the latest with Rashee Rice, what do you make of now the civil lawsuit that has been filed, the statement by the lawyer for Rashee Rice, and what's going on and the saga that maybe thought was going away with the erased Instagram that has now returned about 6 weeks later?
Yeah, horrifying allegations that, if true, I don't want to see Rashee Rice play football ever again for my favorite football team. I think just making that statement off the top, I think this is just additional noise to a off season that has had a lot of noise for Rashee Rice, and it doesn't seem to elude him. There's continually things that Rashee Rice is having to address off the field that raise the alarm bells if I'm looking from a football perspective. The amount of trust I can have in Rashee Rice, this civil suit could have implications on his ability to play for the Chiefs this year, depending on how the NFL's personal conduct policy gets applied to what the findings are in this civil case. So his football is at jeopardy. I think with everything going on, some of the seeming irreverence during Valentine's Day a little bit with some of the news that came out on Valentine's Day paired with some of these things, it's just, I don't know. The optics have been really, really poor. The PR for Rashee Rice has been really poor, on top of just some horrifying, allegations that, if true, again, I'm fine moving on from them.
It seems like the Chiefs get into these situations. I mean, Brett Veach has to be sitting there and going, boy, if I had $1 for every time we're getting ready to draft and think that maybe we need a wide receiver, and then this happens, and it's like, okay, well, now we definitely need to go and get a wide receiver because, 2019 with the allegations that were out there with Tyreek Hill that seemed to be proven false with the investigation and audio. from his significant other, or ex-significant other at the time. But I believe Mecole Hardman's drafting was in large part to the unknown around Tyreek Hill. And I do wonder if this is another offseason where you go, wide receiver was a need for this team. But I'll ask you, Kent, with this unknown there and what I would call just a messy situation all around. Messy with his life, her life, messy as it relates to the Chiefs and what they do. It's been 3 off seasons now with Rashee Rice that there have been things around it to where, a couple off seasons ago, the racing incident. Last year, the unknown of the suspension. This off season, now this and the civil lawsuit. It's all messy. Does this, in your mind, move wide receiver to the top of the needs list, or it affects it, but not all the way to number 1?
Yeah, I think it's probably the number 1 need, and I think there's a case you could make for it to be the number 1 need before some of this news came out. Because, the Chiefs, I don't know if the Chiefs are really going to be in as good a position as they have been historically to walk into the draft with a roster ready to play week 1. I think it's going to be really challenging for the team to be able to navigate all the holes that I think that they have on this team. But, one of the strategies they like to employ, like with the draft specifically, is being able to look ahead. And whether it's free agency, which I don't think there's a ton of solutions in free agency, or the draft, which I think there are some solutions in free agency or in the draft, they need someone to gobble up a lot of targets in 2027.
Yep.
They need somebody that can play and be the primary target for Patrick Mahomes. And if you look at the free agency landscape, there's not a ton of guys that can do that there. If you look at the draft, there are some. And if that's the case, I think that becomes the odds-on favorite to be the position that the Chiefs draft with the 9th pick in this draft is the receiver spot, because they need somebody now. They also need someone badly in 2027 to be a volume earner for this team.
100%. I am completely in agreement there. And if they go wide receiver, it's why, I'll ask you as somebody who covers the draft and scouts these players and looks at them and, has the write-up on them and a great draft guide that'll be out at KC Sports Network. I am on record as not being a fan of Carnell Tate to the Chiefs. I am Tyson then Lemon, but I won't argue if somebody has Lemon over Tyson. Certainly fine with that. I understand that. It's sort of, Amon-Ra St. Brown versus, somebody like, Jordan Tyson that's taller with a bigger catch radius, can still run the entire route tree, catches the football, can be a volume guy. I mean, every target. Arizona State's passing attack was Jordan Tyson. I know there's issue about, injuries and things like that. But as you are getting ready for the combine, how would you rank those in terms of not overall wide receiver? Because I can understand somebody saying, hey, Carnell Tate's the number 1 wide receiver in this draft. Okay, great. What's the number 1 wide receiver for the Chiefs in this draft? How would you rank them among those 3 that seem to be the ones whose names are in the top 10?
Well, first off, I think I'd be excited with any of them. So I think if you told me that any of those 3 receivers that you just said was the 9th pick in the draft, I'd be happy with. I think all of them have, some things about them that would really help the Chiefs from a talent perspective. Right now, for me though, and actually not right now. I think it's permanent for me. I think it's going to be Mekhi Lemon is going to be the guy that I think I would prefer to see the Chiefs draft if all 3 are available. And the reason being, Mekhi Lemon, I think, helps the Chiefs in areas of the field that they just don't have anybody right now. And if you look at, like, Travis Kelce used to be kind of that second-level receiver, right? He's working in the intermediate, and he's having a lot of success out there and getting a lot of targets. He doesn't do that anymore. Rashee Rice, his game is not developed to where he's getting a lot of those second-level catches. He's not running a dig route in the middle of the field. He's not getting to that area of the field and getting a lot of opportunities. And Mekhi Lemon is the best in that area of the field by far of those 3. And then you look at his ability after the catch. He's a little bit undersized, but he's a guy that can move around. He can play all 3 positions. He's still, he's not the biggest guy, but he's got enough to play at the X. You can move him around a little bit. But I think he's a guy that really fits in seamlessly where this team is going to badly need help this year with Travis Kelce aging, if he does come back, and then Rashee Rice's lack of development there. But then in the future, I think this is a guy that, the Jackson Smith and Jigba type. It's Mekhi Lemon. And so with Tyson, I think he's probably, Tyson, I don't think he has great zone awareness, and I don't think he has great spatial awareness all the time. He has his struggles after the catch, and I think that's because he lacks a little bit of awareness. He's the prettiest route runner on beautiful routes.
You're right.
The best. He looks like one of the top 5 receivers in football the way he runs some of his routes. It's just the zone awareness that gives me some pause. And then Tate's awesome. I think Tate is a true X wide receiver. He's a guy that can win above the rim. He's got a great vertical plane where he can run the posts, he can run the verticals, and then he can build off of that with comebacks and curls. But he might be more limited to just an X. I'm excited about all of them. I think Mekhi Lemon checks more boxes for the Chiefs short-term and long-term than the other two.
So would you go Tyson over Tate, or would it be Lemon, Tate, Tyson?
I think right now, I'd go Tate.
Oh, you're so stupid.
But it's so close. It's so close on all of them, and I think Lemon's a clear-cut head above the other two, and then I think both of them kind of sit in their own tier, with Tate just a small tick above Tyson right now for me.
And I know Lemon plays bigger than his size. One of those scout sayings that he's 5'10", 5'11". If he measures 6 foot at the combine, then I feel better about Mekhi Lemon. I'd like to get away from some of the smaller guys, the Xavier Worthies, the Hollywood Browns, the Sky Moores, and I know Mekhi Lemon is not those players. He's more the JSN. Amon-Ra St. Brown can play outside, play the slot, run every route, and is really good at doing it. What I like about Tyson is the catch radius, is the ability to run every route, play every position. And I'm not saying Mekhi Lemon doesn't do this, but I'm a fan of the guys that are willing to say, I need to get better at this position, so how can I do this? Who do I seek out? And spending time and working specifically with Hines Ward about route running and blocking and doing some of those things impresses me that I'm going to reach out so I can get the best I could possibly get. And I would say with the injuries don't bother me, because the guy messed up his hamstring in the Texas Tech game and finished the game, and was a big reason why they were able to win that game. And then, had the issues with the hamstring after that, which, smart or not smart for somebody with their draft stock on the line, I think it shows that ability of, no, I'm out here, I'm toughing it out. And I know I can, if I rip my hamstring, then yeah, my draft stock is messed up. But this game right now, I ain't coming out of the game, because we got a chance to win this one and they need me. There's so much I like about Tyson that I think the drops were focus more than anything, and that was cleared up more this past season at Arizona State. But the catch radius, the size, is why I lean him over Mekhi Lemon, and the ability to run all the routes and play all 3 positions, or all outside and the slot as well, is why I prefer him over Carnell Tate. I just think Carnell Tate seems just like, hey, he's fast, run down the field and let's throw the ball to him. I know he does more, but that's what it feels like. You're plug and placing for Carnell Tate, and I just think over the middle, catch radius, above the linebacker, in front of the safety, where you got to maybe throw it a little bit higher. Those are the reasons why I prefer Tyson.
I'm not going to get too disappointed at all. I'll be thrilled. I think he's one of those guys. If we get to draft weekend and the news is that the Chiefs selected Jordan Tyson, I'm going to be excited. You can't lose with any of those 3 guys. I do think with Tyson, if the Chiefs are taking him, them specifically, just how their offense operates right now, where there's so many route adjustments, there's so much movement to space. The one thing that gives me a little bit of pause, and why I think Tyson probably in those 3 just gives me a little bit more pause than the other, is just because the precision of his routes don't get to be as emphasized with what the Chiefs have done historically offensively, where you're reading coverage and then you're moving to space.
Good point. Yeah.
Some of those things are what make me a little bit more concerned about how he fits relative to some of these other guys, and that's the one little thing in the back of my head that, if he had a little bit better zone awareness, a little bit better ability after the catch, those are the things that would take it over the top for me. But again, love him.
Yeah.
Love the player. Excited about it. Good player.
Yeah. I mean, if they get either one of them, I'm totally fine. If they get Carnell Tate, like, I'll be honest, I won't be overly enthused with that, because I feel like, let me put it this way, Kent, and I didn't mean to get bogged down on this, but I like the conversation, because the whole Rasheed Rice, I think, throws it more into the conversation rather than David Beatty, Reuben Bain, Peter Woods, Keldrick Falk, like, who are they getting at number 9? Caleb Downs, where are they going? But if they go wide receiver, what worries me about Carnell Tate is Andy Reid, archetype. This guy runs deep. You can throw the ball to him, takes the top off the defense, and it's a great point about Jordan Tyson, and his strengths maybe aren't matched up with what the Chiefs do offensively in his ability in the smooth routes that he runs and runs the entire route tree. I would just like the Chiefs to have somebody who does run the entire route tree on the team. That's all.
I would love to see the Chiefs, and I think you want somebody to get you a bucket, right? And if there's somebody that you can isolate on the backside of the formation, put him in the X spot, and you're going 3 by 1, that gives Jordan Tyson a chance to accentuate his skill set, because now there's a chance he's getting one of those one-on-ones. You get to use that route precision, because it's not necessarily as much about a combination over on the other side of the play, right? It's not a concept running on the 3 receiver side. It's, hey, you're the tag receiver, right? We're going to give you the dig. We're going to give you the comeback. We're going to give you, the shake route here. And hey, Pat, if you like your one-on-one, go take it, because he's going to go win that route for you, right? Like, that's and the Chiefs had that at times, like, they used that. That's where Travis Kelce used to have a lot of success, right? They used to ISO him over on the backside and give him some space in a two-way go from a reduced split, and he'd go win. And so, like, there's a way to fit. It's not like it's impossible to fit Jordan Tyson into this offense. It's quite easy. I think that's probably where you accentuate him a little bit more, kind of like what they were hoping to do with DeAndre Hopkins last year or 2 years ago.
Last one for you on this, I promise. Is Carnell?
Keep going. I'll be honest. We can.
I know. I can do it.
Talk receivers. I can do it all day.
I could do an hour, the entire hour with you on these 3 guys, because I think one of them will be available. If wide receiver is the number 1 need that they're looking at, I think one of these guys will be available. But the volume part of it, with Travis Kelce maybe playing 1 more year, and Rasheed Rice maybe playing no more years for the Chiefs, and Xavier Worthy being the receiver that he is, can Carnell Tate be a volume guy? Hey, like the term you used, we need a bucket, so Carnell Tate's going to be the guy that just works. Like the Seattle Seahawks need a chain mover. Oh, we'll look at JSN. I can stare him down. I know he's going to get open. Lions, Jared Goff. I know Amon-Ra is going to be where he needs to be and get open and find a way to do that. Is Tate that guy that he can be the volume guy, or he's got that specific skill set that is really good for a team and adds to a wide receiver room, but not necessarily he's going to be the guy we look to anytime we need a bucket and, can be a 11 or 12 target share guy?
Yeah, I don't know if he'll ever be quite there. Like, if you're ranking these guys from a volume perspective, I don't think he ranks the highest. I think he ranks last. I think it's Mekhi, I think it's Tyson, and I think it's Tate. But when you're looking at, like, all the things we just got done talking about with isolating, Jordan Tyson on the backside, I think Tate, you can build a plan for that too. And I think the thing with Tate is, I think those plays that he's isolated on the backside as an X receiver are more lucrative than what you're getting out of Tyson, right? So there's a little bit more risk reward, maybe a little bit more. I mean, the average depth of target's probably going to be between the 3 of them. Carnell Tate's probably going to have the average depth of target's going to be a lot bigger than the other 2.
Yeah.
So there's going to be there's going to be more boom to the opportunities you get him. So maybe he's not a 12 target guy, but maybe he's a 9 target guy, but the yardage winds up being relatively similar.
Yeah. Bring back Tyquan, draft Lemon Tyson. So there you go.
Fine by me.
Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. The restructuring of Patrick Mahomes' contract. One of the things that they changed a couple of years ago, which I thought was significant, was that they moved it from the contract, or the roster bonus went from the 3rd day of the league year to then being post-draft and allowing them to restructure and change the roster bonus to signing bonus depending on the draft picks and everything there. They went and did it on February 18th and probably have been meeting and talking about doing it before then. But also in the contract, Patrick Mahomes doesn't even get a say in it. It's like, hey, we're changing it from a roster to a signing bonus. Here's the check you're getting regardless. Which is an interesting sort of clause in that it's like, Patrick, we don't even have to ask you from that standpoint. But the fact that they did it this early, before the combine even hit, does that give you an indication of free agent strategy for the Chiefs, that they're not going to wait and see and go, well, how much of Patrick Mahomes do we need? That they're setting their budget early, that when they move on from Taylor and Mike Dana, and I think Noah Gray and a couple of others, and maybe some contract restructures with Creed or Trey Smith, et cetera, maybe even Chris Jones, that they're setting up a quote-unquote smaller war chest to go and make some splashes in free agency. Does the Patrick Mahomes early restructure now, 3 weeks before free agency even starts, does that give you an indication of a free agent strategy for the Chiefs?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two things. Yeah, the timing of it, but like the full amount too. There's no mystery here. There's zero mystery. The Chiefs are fully restructuring Patrick Mahomes' deal this year with the full amount so they can help eat into the cap space as much as they possibly can. They're handing him a giant $40 million check. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, it's really tough that Mahomes doesn't have a say when he gets paid tens of millions of dollars. Like, I don't know if I could operate in those kind of working conditions. But
Patrick, instead of the $40 million, we're going to write you a $40 million one, okay? Well, we're going to change the wording over here, but we're going to give you a $40 million check. We were going to give you $40 million, but now we're going to give you 40.
Yeah, and we're going to give it to you right now.
Right now. Yep, on February 18th, not on April or May, like 3rd or 4th, whatever the new contract was.
Well, and I think maybe some years they could have been cap compliant without without delaying it. But
that's a good point. Cap compliant, true. Yeah.
They have to. I mean, they have to. I mean, they're so far they're so far over the cap that they were going to have to do this move. Mm-hmm. I think it is just of interest that it was the full amount because they haven't always taken the full amount in the past. There's been some years where it's been a lot more modest, but I think it's just signaling they know they have to do it. They know they got to get it out of the way. They've got to go, get this thing. Get cap compliant before the start of the year, and this is the most obvious, easy way to do that. And the second most obvious, easy way to do that is to get under the cap by cutting Jawan Taylor here within the next couple of weeks as well. So, I think it signals that the Chiefs are going to have to make some moves. I think it signals that they're going to be spending, and I think they're just trying to get everything ready before the start of the year. I hope that means some cash spending. I think Clark's going to have to spend a lot of cash this offseason. I really do. I think there's going to have to be a couple multi-year deals handed out to some players so that, and if you're handing out multi-year deals, that means you're handing out more cash than you otherwise would. But to be cap compliant and to be able to help address all the needs that this team has, there probably needs to be a couple multi-year deals involved.
Yeah, this would be one of those off seasons, Kent, where it's like, hey, Clark, getting a new stadium over there in Kansas, a dome. Time to spend a little cash up front, and allow your front office to make some moves to maximize Patrick Mahomes and what this team this year can be. You've got a really cool, 2-part series there at KCSN that you wrote the last couple of days, or at least last couple of weeks, last week, in the free agency and sort of changing the draft strategy. Now that we know they're making these moves, is there a particular free agent that maybe changes draft strategy more than anything? Like if they go and sign Mike Evans, who, by the way, according to Jason McIntyre, is ring chasing because he hasn't even sniffed a Super Bowl in Tampa, except for the Super Bowl trophy that he literally sniffed and kissed. Other than that, is there a particular draft strategy change based on a free agent signing that you would look at with your 2 different pieces that you wrote there at KCSN?
Yeah, I think the biggest off-season free agency move that the Chiefs could make that would change draft strategy would be if they go out and invest heavily in the running back position. Like, I think that's the big one, that if you see the Chiefs make a significant investment. If Breece Hall hits the market and the Chiefs sign him on day one of free agency, I think that all but eliminates the idea of taking a running back in the top 100 period. And I think that should signal that as well. So, I think that's one of the ones I'm paying the most attention to, I think, is running back, because I don't think there's a world where you can pay Breece Hall that much money, whatever it's going to be, $12 million APY, and then turn around and pay Jeremiah Love a top 10 contract. Yeah. And, candidly, I think Jeremiah Love is the best player in this class. And I would love to see him there, but the longer you look at how things are going with the offseason and all the things that are happening, like with the Rashee Rice news and all this stuff too, it's making it harder to see a world where the Chiefs can afford to draft Jeremiah Love. And I think that's the slow realization I might be coming to. And we'll see what happens if the Chiefs do make a sizable investment in running back. I think that signals everything you need to know about what they're going to do from that position.
All right, two quick ones, Dan. Do you have a running back preference of the free agent market?
Tyler Algier on a very small, modest deal, I think, is the move that I would make. I think the Chiefs can get better at running backs simply by signing someone like Algier. So a modest improvement in the running back room. Maybe sign Rachaad White to pair with them. Double dip the running back free agent, and instead of giving big contracts out, sign a couple guys like that.
Do you think I would love Tyler Algier? Here's my worry about Algier. I think Algier is going to at least test the market to see if he can get a starting running back role. Now, in Kansas City, do you say, yeah, we're bringing you in, Tyler, at this number. You're our starting running back. We're also going to bring in Gainwell or Rachaad White, something like that, who's going to be part of it. But your role is going to be not the Batman to Byron, or Bijan Robinson's, or your Robin to Bijan Robinson's Batman. You're the main guy, and then we will have others play off of you. I think he's going to first and foremost look for, I want to be the starting running back, and that's the team I'm going to sign with.
Yeah, but how many Batmans are there really?
I agree.
And so I don't know if anyone's going to be able to sell Tyler Algier on being Batman. I don't know how much that matters to him. I don't know. I don't either. Yeah. The way the league shapes up right now, there's just not that many Batmans.
Yeah.
And so,
or at least in the Batman for that team, like an ace of a team versus an ace in baseball, right? You're the number one pitcher on that team. You're the Pacheco being the quote unquote Batman to Kareem Hunt's Robin, but Pacheco not being a Batman. I just wonder if Tyler Algier is like, hey, drive number one, possession one, play one. I'm on the field, not Bijan Robinson, not the other guy. It's me. I'm on the field. That's the guarantee I want if I'm signing with you. I'm your starting running back. I may not get 25 touches per game, but I'm the guy that gets the first touches.
I think a Algier Gainwell backfield would be absolutely Algier getting that opportunity. So I think that would play well.
Yep. Last one for you: are you going to the combine next week?
I'm not.
Part timer, just lazy.
KCSN will be represented at the NFL combine though.
What are you taking time off now? I mean, come on, dude. How are you not going to go hang out at St. Elmo's? I mean, that's what everybody does heading to Indianapolis. Come on. I mean, Seren and Lebo are going, and you're not? I mean, good God, Kent. Anyway, is there a storyline you'll be watching or measurement or something that you might have extra closer attention to?
Yeah, I mean, Mekhi Lemon's height and weight
is
one of them. Ruben Bain's arm length. But I think the other one that is worth paying attention to is Keldrick Falk.
Oh, yeah.
The edge out of Auburn who has uncanny measurables and is one of the best run defenders in the class at the edge position. And if he tests through the roof, I think he's going to absolutely blow up, and I think you'll start seeing his name in the top 10 more than often.
I mean, here's I know that I told you that was last. Here's my concern. He's got Spags written all over him. It's like he's so good at stopping the run, but when it comes to the pass rush, he's not. Let's say sudden. He's on. It feels like he's on the opposite end of the spectrum of David Bailey. It's like, oh, he's got pass rush tools that he hasn't realized yet, but man, he is so awesome against the run. And I'm like, oh, Spags is going to be drooling over that guy.
get him in a 3-point stance and let him rush off the edge, and not put him in this wonky stance he's having to play inside the tackle.
That's true. That's a good point.
I think there's a lot more there to it, and even if there's not, I think you're getting a safe player who's going to be 20 years old on his first NFL game, and has high football character. I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Just it's a Spags guy and it's a Chiefs guy being 20 years old, and I do think he has a high floor to where it's like at number 9 you can't miss, right? You can't take somebody and just swing and a miss. And so Falk, I do think is going to be a high floor guy. At minimum, you're going to get one of the best run stopping defensive ends in the draft. So that's right there out of the gates. I just think the Chiefs need that pass rusher if they're going number 9, but we'll find out. Maybe he's a guy that can be 3-down lineman and be a stud pass rusher too. That'd be really cool, and not necessarily like a David Bailey, Nick Benito, although I think Bailey's better against the run than some would make it out to be just because he's that quick off the edge. So he's looked at a pass rush sort of only at times. Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast, will not be heading to the Combine because he just doesn't care enough. That's what I've taken away from this conversation.
Exactly right.
Kent, you're the man. Appreciate it as always, brother. We'll talk in a couple of weeks when the Combine is over, measurements are in, and then I'll ask you how quickly you're going to get to getting that damn draft guide out, man. Come on.
Hey, we launched today, by the way, or Tuesday. We launched. We opened pre-orders Tuesday.
Heck yeah! All right. Well, I need to go there now. Then I'm 2 days late. My bad. Kent, you're the man. Appreciate it as always, brother.
Yep, catch you later.
Absolutely. There's Kent Swanson. I could have talked another 2 or 3 segments just about the wide receivers only. I didn't plan on spending that much time and talking about Lemon, Tate, Tyson, but I could have spent even more time breaking it down because I love the thought process around like Mekhi Lemon being a guy that is a smaller stature for my taste, a little too smaller stature for my taste in this wide receiver room, but his ability just to simply get open and feel like an Amon-Ra St. Brown and a JSN in ability to get open in everything, man-to-man or zone. And if he measures well, as he said, the number one thing that he's going to be watching, because Mekhi Lemon is his number one. So number one thing he's going to be watching next week is height and weight measurements for Mekhi Lemon. If he's 6 foot, then that's a horse of a different color, because he doesn't play like he's 5'10", 5'11". He plays like he's 6'3", with catch radius, playing through contact, after the catch, like a lot of things to like about it.
I get it. You want another small wide receiver in Kansas City. I get it.
That's why
I understand.
That's why I like Tyson over, and that's why I go Tyson, because I think I love guys that are willing to say, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be the best at my position, not just I've got a pretty good draft grade. What I think separates Bobby Witt is that after the rookie season, when he was so bad defensively, he went in the offseason and said, I'm erasing everything and starting from scratch.
His range went from the first percentile to 97th percentile in 1 year.
But he did that because he worked with his coach and said, we're starting from the ground up. I'm talking about footwork pre-pitch.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be built from the ground up. Who does that? Who's one of the top prospects in all of baseball that is gifted beyond everything and says, no, I want to start over. I want to build from the ground up to be able to capitalize on what my God-given ability is. So how do I do that? He spent the entire offseason rebuilding defensively, pre-pitch, pre-pitch steps, approach, quickness, fielding, break on the ball, all of that. And he turns out to be and then he wins Gold Gloves. Mm-hmm. Jordan Tyson goes from somebody 2 years ago as a sophomore to good player, and then 2 years later is one of the best route runners in college football. Seeking out Hines Ward, working with him, and everything about him is like bookworm. Just does everything he can because he wants to be the best at his position. I don't think you go from a guy who's pretty good, that's tall and rangy, to maybe the best route runner in college by being a guy that's just sort of going with the flow.
Sure.
I think that's I want to be the absolute best, and I'll do whatever it takes to be the absolute best. And the injury concerns don't worry me as much because, again, I pointed out last year against Texas Tech, he messes up his hamstring in the game, and he stays in the game. And it's a big reason why they won that game is because he stayed in the game and was the only guy. The passing game for them was Jordan Tyson.
Sounds like Darren Peterson.
That's exactly right.
I was going to say, was he cramping?
No, he played through it. That's the thing. He played through it and stayed in. And by the way, if he rips his hamstring by staying in one game his last year against Texas Tech, and then misses off-season workouts leading into the combine because he's rehabbing from a ripped hamstring, it's a pretty big deal. But instead, he stays on the field and fights through it and makes big catches down the stretch for them to beat Texas Tech. That's significant to me. Whereas Carnell Tate against Miami went to block somebody and then backed away because he didn't want that smoke. That's also significant to me. We'll see. I think they'll have their opportunity at one of the three at number 9. We'll talk about why this becomes even more of an issue because of what took place yesterday and the statement by Rashee Rice's lawyer that, to me, adds an element and also a head-scratcher at the same time. More Zone next. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. A lot of talk about wide receiver with Kent Swanson. We'll talk with Jack Johnson coming up at noon. Surprise, Arizona. Surprise, surprise is where Jack is. Final day for him. Next week, we'll be heading to Indianapolis a lot. Todd Lebo, Soren Petra will be covering the Combine for us here at Sports Radio 810 WHB. So we'll talk with them coming up next week. As I said with Kent Swanson, the way I would describe the entire Rashee Rice situation is just messy. It's messy all the way around. I mean, it's obviously messy in that relationship. Messy when it comes to the Chiefs. Off the field, on the field. The effects on the field, obviously. And it's off-season 3 in a row that the conversation has been about Rashee Rice and how much, or I should say, whether or how much he plays that upcoming season. The 2024 offseason, he had the racing incident. We didn't know how long the court case would take. We thought maybe it would be expedited a little bit since he immediately, after leaving the scene of the crime, it's like Rashee Rice has done everything in working with law enforcement. Since he left the scene of the crime, he has done everything that he could possibly do. So it's like, okay, agreeing to that, he did all these things working with law enforcement, maybe that would expedite the case. It did not. But all off season, it's like, is he going to play this year? Last year, 2025. Is he going to play this year? Recovery from the ACL, not his fault in terms of off the field conversation, but the conversation was about suspension. When's the court case going to be done? When is this whole thing going to be resolved? And does he get suspended in 2025? Or is it something that drags on into 2026? And here we are into 2026 with something different with Rashee Rice. And on January 7th, when his ex-girlfriend, mother of his children, puts out the Instagram post with the allegations that were there about, what's been going on for 8 years, we discussed it. The Chiefs said they're aware of it. The NFL is aware of it, looking into the matter. Then it was erased. It was deleted. Instagram erased. So at that point, it's like, okay, is this going to go away? The NFL can look into it, but if she's not cooperating and doesn't want to talk to the NFL, then they just have allegations that were posted and then taken down? Is that something that you can suspend him and something that would hold up with the NFLPA? Now you've got the civil suit. And as Jesse Newell said this morning, which is true, the NFL doesn't typically get involved with civil suits that aren't criminal. But this civil suit with the allegations that are out there and the pictures that are out there, I think changes things. The video on Rashee Rice, or Ray Rice, changed things. Obviously, it clearly changed things because it went from the suspension he first had, video came out, then another. Kareem Hunt changed things, the video, because he lied to Clark Hunt. You don't lie to him.
Video always, words, you try and picture and you can think, but words don't have the same power as video. We've seen that time and time again.
Which is why when the Ray Rice stuff came out, I said we should watch this a lot. People are like, stop showing it. I'm like, no, don't stop showing it. Because when you read a police report and it says that he struck her and rendered her unconscious, what do you think that looks like? That's what it looks like. So this stuff is out there with Rashee Rice. The statement from the lawyer, though, to me, is interesting. His statement reads, quote, on October 9, 2025, well after the parties' relationship has ended, Ms. Jones stated under penalty of perjury in a sworn affidavit for non-prosecution that Mr. Rice and I had a verbal argument, but he did not punch me. We will allow the legal process to run its course and will have no further comment at this time. So what I find to be really confusing, adding to the messiness of this entire thing, is the Instagram post came out in January 7th. This is stating on October 9th, under penalty of perjury in a sworn affidavit, she said we had a verbal argument and he did not punch me. Now, that to me is really interesting for the lawyer to come out and present that immediately. Because my question at that point would be, was there anything criminal that they were discussing at the time? Did they already go down the route of a civil lawsuit? Why would she need to have a sworn affidavit under penalty of perjury about an altercation that she and Rashee Rice had, in which she said it was a verbal altercation, a verbal argument, and he did not punch me? That, I mean, it needs somebody well above my pay grade and lawyers out there to explain that, if that is in criminal nature, civil nature. What happened on October 9th for her to have a sworn affidavit of a interaction that took place between she and Rashee Rice? He is also saying we will allow the legal process to run its course and we'll have no further comment at this time. That's my first takeaway on that is, wow, this is another element because something was taking place before January that actually dealt with lawyers and the court system because, again, penalty of perjury if she lied. Now that statement feels like a very specific incident that we had Mr. Rice and I had a verbal argument, but he did not punch me. Not we had verbal arguments. We've had many different arguments and he never punched me. This seems like a very specific thing. But the lawyer's statement to me offers up there's a history there of Miss Jones, Rashee Rice, and whatever's taken place domestically in their relationship, past relationship, that this has already gone to the court system of some sort, and now it's going to the civil part of it. She's seeking $1 million in damages. Either it's, hey, you've already said that something didn't happen, so either you were lying then or you're lying now, or her lawyer's response could be, yeah, she said nothing happened that time.
Yeah,
but she also said 8 years of this.
Yeah, it says multiple. So was that for just the particular singular one they were?
Certainly sounds like it. Mr. Rice and I had a verbal argument, but he did not punch me. Is that 8 years worth of a sworn affidavit under penalty of perjury? Or is that something that came up specifically from one incident that might have been criminal in nature that we never heard about, that then not pressing charges or backing off an allegation under penalty of perjury saying, no, it was just a verbal altercation. It was just a verbal argument. He did not punch me. It's really confusing. And someone smarter than I that went to lawyer school would obviously be better at understanding what this is about. I don't know what the circumstances surrounding this as to when, why she signed it, her lawyer that was there, why was there an affidavit that needed to be signed under penalty of perjury on October 9th of 2025 this year. The NFL's aware of it. The NFL will be doing their investigation. The civil part of it, as Jesse Newell said, they typically don't get involved. But we've also seen you don't have to be prosecuted criminally for the NFL to say, yeah, that was different. What we're saying is our investigation found out it was preponderance of evidence. We don't need beyond a shadow of a doubt. We need more likely than not. And this also was a bad look for the NFL, so we're going to suspend you. And a suspension for Rashee Rice, if they feel like some of this is true, that ain't a 6-gamer. It's not an 8-gamer. I think it's a season. I think he's a multiple offender with adding in a minimum 6 games for DV, but then you've already served a 6-game suspension, and you're a multiple offender now. I think you started a year, and I don't think the NFLPA would have much of a leg to stand on if that's the case here. And that's what you run into in this offseason and the unknown with Rashee Rice is how long is this going to take? And the draft is in April.
Yeah.
I mean, Brett Veach is like, really, again? But also, don't draft character concerns. He had character concerns. There were teams that said, we're not drafting Rashee Rice. We found out after the fact, but there were teams that said, we're not drafting him.
I'm sure they knew. We found out after the fact.
Yeah.
I don't think
the Chiefs knew before.
You would have to imagine.
Yes, absolutely. Chiefs knew well before what was going on and what the allegations were and what was going on in college as to why teams said, or at least one team, a couple teams said, we're not going to draft the guy. A guy with first-round talent, early second-round talent that went as late as he did in the second round, where the Chiefs were if the Chiefs didn't draft him, I don't know where Rashee Rice goes. When a player falls in the draft, it's an indication of what the league thinks of him. When a player is drafted at the certain spot they are, it's an indication of what one team thinks of them. Could be other teams thought the same thing, but we only know for a fact one team thought of him that way. When a player just slides and slides and slides, that's an indication of the entire league's thought process on that guy. So if the Chiefs didn't draft Rashee Rice there, I don't know. Maybe he's the next pick. Maybe he's a third rounder or a fourth rounder. And people are going, why is Rashee Rice still on the board here? I don't know. The whole thing is messy, and it creates that much more of a difficult offseason where it's just tiring with him now. We said it at the time. Like, the guy doesn't get benefit of the doubt. Sorry. I know that in this country it's innocent until proven guilty. But when you've been involved with other things, at that point, the burden of proof kind of falls on you. Feels like he ain't exactly... This is a purgatory thing. To me, these are larger than allegations when he's already got a history, but not a conviction. So where's the middle ground there is kind of where I'm at. If he was squeaky clean, great character, no character concerns, and this comes out, it's like, well, these are allegations. These look pretty bad. But they're allegations right now. Character concerns in college, the issues he's already had. Now these allegations come out, it raises a little bit. It's a little above allegations to me, but not a conviction.
And by the
Where's
way,
that middle ground? I don't know.
Just real quick, because I know this is always a question that gets brought up a ton. When people are like, well, when you're going through other stuff, people will do it because they want to get money. Like, again, that's not what I'm saying. My thought is I'm saying, but I've seen people say, well, obviously she's out.
Well, she's looking for $1 million.
She's looking for $1 million. But my pushback is always, this should be the worst timing possible. He's given a lot of his money for restitution to begin with, and he has not signed a second contract.
And this kills his overall earning potential.
This kills it. Again, timing is everything. And if someone was looking for money, this would be about the worst possible time to go out and try and do that, because how is he going to pay?
Yeah. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll talk a little baseball with Jack Johnson, who is in Arizona. There is rough news as it comes to Texas Tech, and that is J.T. Toppin is out for the year.
Yeah.
ACL injury that comes on the heels of Richie Saunders and BYU tearing his ACL. So two teams that are two of the better teams in the Big 12 losing their best and second best player in Toppin and Richie Saunders being out, changing the trajectory of the ceiling of those particular teams. But that news came out, it was official yesterday that J.T. Toppin is now officially out for the year. Sort of thought that would be the case with some of the early reports about it being that knee injury that could be significant. And it sucks because, you lose a really good player. And it affects things for Texas Tech. Kansas doesn't play Texas Tech the rest of the way.
Yeah.
They don't play BYU either. May play them in the Big 12 tournament here in Kansas City, but they don't play either of those teams as BYU and Texas Tech, which is unfortunate for Kansas because I think BYU and Texas Tech, the rest of the way, their resume, you can only imagine, you can only guess or assume, I should say, that it's not going to be the same without Richie Saunders and some of the wins that it would have been if he were healthy and playing.
Correct.
Same thing with J.T. Toppin and Texas Tech. So the wins against BYU and Tech maybe not as significant when the season is over and we see what their overall resume looks like, which is unfortunate because they beat them full strength. And maybe that'll be taken into account.
Yeah, you hope so. I mean, Christian Anderson's a great player too, and Atwell's solid, but
great last name.
But it is not J.T. Toppin. J.T. Toppin is the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just a phenomenal player. Just a phenomenal player, so enjoyable to watch. And without JT, I mean, I don't know how that affects Anderson and Atwell as well. I mean, JT draws so much attention, which leads to kickouts for those two guys. Well, what happens now when you don't have a guy in the middle who is creating for those guys? This Texas Tech team, that's a real big bummer. Richie Saunders, obviously, for BYU, big one.
Yeah.
But I think JT Toppin is just insane.
Yeah, because you're talking about their best player. Again, Christian Anderson, really good player. But JT Toppin is, an all Big 12 player. That is also an all-around player. An all-around guy for us here is Jack Johnson, who was down in Surprise, Arizona. Jack, what is up, brother? How you doing?
Oh, we're doing much better today. There's no interruptions. There's no bad weather, and we've gotten about, 15 to 20 interviews, a couple more lined up for later on before we head off to the airport. Nice. So that's why I'm a little bit late. We were sitting down with Jake Eisenberg, and man, he had some great stuff.
Love Jake Eisenberg. He is so good at what he does. It makes me jealous sometimes. People, I'll just say this about play-by-play in sports. Football play-by-play is fun. That was my first passion and dream, was to be a football play-by-play. It's, it can be difficult at times. Basketball is just action, 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 action. Those that are really good at baseball make me jealous because I was not good as a baseball play-by-play, which is odd, Jack, because it feels like baseball is more of a sports talk show while there's a game going on that you interact and let people know at the same time. So you would think that would be something I would enjoy, but those that are good at baseball play-by-play are sort of annoying because I know how difficult that is. And he's really good.
Yeah, I mean, he's incredible at what he does. And to fill radio, TV for 2.5 to 3 hours of a baseball game that, let's be honest, you don't know the outcome of it. I mean, it could be an 8-1 game by the second inning, and now all of a sudden people don't really care about what's going on in the field. You got to find a way to fill the next 2 hours and make it entertaining. You have to make it interesting, or what are people going to do? They're going to flip the channel. They're going to turn the dial. And, the Royals, his first year, I want to say that he was on the call, was 2023. There were a lot of games that were not enjoyable. They were over rather early, and to now go from that to have a team that should be competing for a postseason spot 3 years running, I'm sure it's a refreshing change.
Well, if you ask me, I think he sucks.
We did talk about Denny too.
Why would Denny say that? Like, Denny, what is it? That's just that. You know what that is? That's pure jealousy. That is pure, as he would say. You know what? Youth is wasted on the young. That's what Denny
There you
would
go.
say about Jake Eisenberg. It's ridiculous. And that's also a guy that was doing the Storm Chasers and New York Mets games and Royals games all in the same season in 2023. He's really, really good. This is your last day there in Surprise. What's the best thing that or interview, conversation that you think you've maybe it's something you haven't played yet or just got done, but what's been your favorite so far?
Yeah, I'd say the sit down we had with Vinny Pasquantino was such a cool experience, just because that guy is great on the mic, and he should have a podcast or a show of his own, because his knowledge of the game, his knowledge of this team is pretty tremendous. And also our interview with Matt Strahm was fun this morning. That's a guy who is now in his second stint in Kansas City. He was a rookie the last time he was here, and now he gets to be one of those older, experienced guys. He has played before with Carlos Estevez. He's played before with Lucas Ursig, I want to say that he had said, or maybe it was Alex Lang. I can't quite remember. But you'll have a guy that brings such a knowledge to the bullpen. He's open to learning new things. I thought it was fascinating when he was talking about when he talks with other coaches. I'll give some input as well. It's not a coach going, hey, do this. Okay, I'm going to do that. They work together, and I think that's what makes this pitching staff so successful is the coaches, they don't talk to these guys or look down upon the players of it's my way or it's the highway. Who are you to tell me what to do? I'm the coach, you're the player, and you have this conversation back and forth, and you see it in the clubhouse, you see it on the field. These are guys that are all grown adults, and I've always felt this way when it comes to managers and coaches at the big league level, really more so than any other sport. You are dealing with adults. It is in the same way where you go into the office, and if you are treated with respect, and there still is the underlying, like, there's levels to this, right? You don't treat your manager like some guy who's beneath you, but they all have this really good chemistry. There's good camaraderie, and if you do that well, most of those teams are successful. If you've got that manager who's a hard ass on you 24/7, yeah, it can work for some guys that need the fire lit under them, but sometimes, you got to realize you're around each other every single day. And if you got somebody that's constantly barking at you, breathing down your neck, you might not get the most out of those players. And I think what makes this coaching staff so good, and from what I've heard from these players, they like that mentality of we all have a common goal here, but I'm going to treat you in the way that can get the most out of you, that can make you the most successful. And to have coaches that can read that from certain guys, it's a positive to have.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by Matt Strahm, just, the whole, coming full circle back with the Kansas City Royals, but also the fact that, like if I talk to Matt, I know you talk baseball because that's what you do, Jack. All right, I think I would talk to Matt Strahm about being from Fargo and the movie and the TV shows and hosting the Card Life of just being an obsessed baseball card collector with like 1 million baseball cards that he has, or just Pokemon, whatever the cards are. I don't know if you guys got into that at all, but I think that's incredibly fascinating, and especially a guy who appreciates the game, that when he gives up a home run, he gets that guy's card and has him sign it. So everybody that's hit a home run off Matt Strahm, he has an autographed card of that. I think that's so fascinating. Somebody that he's made tons of money in Major League Baseball, comparatively speaking to the rest of us that are doing what we're doing, and he also has this passion that is also related to the game. That's sort of like, I think that's something I might do if I had all that money, is just collect cards. I've got an opportunity and I've got an avenue to be able to be around these players and to have some of these cool things that, let's do this. Let's have some fun. Let's open up some packs. Let's do this on the air live and host my own show. I think there's so many cool things about Matt Strahm, not even his hair included. So.
Oh yeah, I mean we had spoke with him at Royals Rally on the media portion about his card collecting and his realization that he was coming back to Kansas City. Funny story about that. He has a farm that's in Kansas. I'm blanking now. It was where, because he was at Cowley County, if I'm not mistaken. So he played JUCO ball in the Kansas area, and then he of course ends up in Kansas City. So he, I think, for kind of lack of a better term here, like he sees Kansas City as home. He's always had a place he goes back to, and so he's had this farm for a number of years. Like in the off season, that's where he goes back to. and he would have his brother, I want to say, that goes out there. If he was in Philadelphia and there was somebody that needed to watch the farm, his brother would be out there. And so when he got the call that he was being acquired by the Royals, he said, all right, well, there's no excuse for the pond to be green this year because I'm going to be down there. That's where I'll be living or spend a majority of my time. And then on top of that, to have the card collection, he'd even said that he's trying to get a Bobby Witt Jr. card or some special Bobby Witt Jr. card that he'd say that he'd pay, if Bobby had it, he'd pay him a large sum of money. So he takes it serious. It's not some little joke thing of, I enjoy opening up cards and whether it be Pokemon or baseball. Like, it's not some hobby. I think he takes it pretty seriously, and that's what makes him so entertaining.
Yeah, apparently it's Sabetha, Kansas, which is 2 hours from here, and it is, I would say, probably an hour, maybe hour 10 north of Topeka, just directly north up 75 from Topeka, is where his Strom Farms is where it is.
There you go.
So there you go, Strom Farms. He's got the farm. He's a fascinating character. What do you think his role is? Does he move into, like for the Phillies, he bounced around at times. He was a lefty guy, but he could also be a lefty guy he's our eighth inning guy. He closed for a little bit of time when they had some injuries. He was also a guy that's sixth inning, seventh inning. How do you foresee Matt Strom being used on this team?
He should be that guy that's almost penciled into a seventh or eighth inning role. Now, I say that, and that's probably not the right word to use or the right term to use, because we know that Matt Quatraro uses a bunch of different guys, and sometimes it's about the matchup. If you have the eighth inning and there's three righties coming up, well, if Lucas Erceg's healthy and ready to go, then it's going to be Lucas Erceg's inning. If there's two lefties that are coming up, I'd imagine it'll be Matt Strom there. The positive is Matt Strom can get righties out as well. I wouldn't view Matt Strom as this, you can only put him out there if there's three lefties in a row, or you need one out, let's go to Matt Strom to face a lefty. That could happen, but I imagine they view him as this guy of, look, he is a lefty, but he can be really tough on righties as well because of the arm angle he provides. He's got a really powerful slider. He's got a fastball that he calls his best pitch. It's not what it once was at 97 to 99. It's firm, though, and it's got good movement to it. He talked about that this morning. And what I can say is whether we've talked to Lucas or Matt Strom or anybody trying out for a bullpen spot, they've all said the same thing of it's bridging the gap to get it to Carlos. That is the only thing that seems like it's a constant of we're all working together to get these outs and get it to Carlos Estevez in the ninth inning. So he has a defined role, whereas everybody else, it might come down to who's down on that day. It might come down to matchups. I mean, there's so much that goes into a bullpen decision, which is why I find it funny when it doesn't go well and you got people that get upset by it. It's not just this on-the-whim decision. They're thinking about these moves 2 to 3 innings prior to that of if this guy comes back up in this spot, we want to go to this guy because he's better against this side of the plate. This guy that's hitting isn't good against fastball slider. He's not good against cutter change. All those type of things go into a decision, and these guys have to be prepared for whatever it is. If Matt Strom has to pitch in the sixth inning, Matt Strom's going to be ready to pitch in the sixth inning. If he has to go in the ninth inning because Estevez is down, he's going to have to be ready to close out the game.
Yeah, and I would say, though, not even though, but we know that Q likes to go the lefty-righty guys there, and there were times when, it felt like, okay, you took this guy out a little bit early, and he's been pretty good as a reliever, but it was a lefty-righty thing there. I'm hoping, and I think you trade for the guy, and I think you trade for the guy to use him against lefties and righties. I'm hoping that Q doesn't simply view and label him as a lefty guy, that a lefty that, as you mentioned, gets righties out. I mean, even last year as a 33-year-old, right-handed hitters slugged 380 against him. He ain't giving up a 500 slug. I mean, the OPS was higher against righties than lefties, but it was like 600. So it's not like it was anything crazy. I hope that it would be nice. Let me ask you this way then. Do you think there's a chance that there's a version of HDH here with Strom, Erceg, Estevez, or does Q want that flexibility of somebody in the sixth or bringing somebody else in the seventh or the eighth or something like that playing matchups?
It's a fair question, and I guess my counter would be, will we ever see something across baseball like HDH again, where it was automatic, right?
Yeah,
if the Royals had a lead and it was a save situation, it's HDH. It was just, you knew that's what was going to happen. If you could get 5 innings out of a starter, fantastic. You need to go to somebody for an inning, or maybe the starter can go 6. That's fine, but the final 9 outs of the game are decided by those 3.
Yep.
It's just a little bit different now, I would say, in the current landscape of baseball. I'd also say that I wouldn't see it being an HDH scenario, because they also want these other guys to get reps, where there's going to be an 8th inning on the road, 1-run game against a Boston or New York, where Steven Cruz is going to have to take the ball and go. And he's going to have to show that he can get those 3 outs in a high-leverage moment. He was tested early on last year, did pretty well for a while, and then hit a wall. Still, I don't think that's going to change their opinion on him going into 2026. Someone like Luinder Avila might get that opportunity. Daniel Lynch or Bailey Falter, if they make the team, they might get an opportunity. Whereas if you use Strom, Ursig, and Estevez for 70 innings apiece, they might be fatigued or they might run out of gas by the end of the year, and then you really don't know what's going on with the other guys. Are they only capable of throwing in 6-1 games or 4-0 games, or can they go take the ball and get those big outs? And one team that does it better than anybody, as much as it pains me to say it, is Cleveland. There is no let-up in the Cleveland bullpen. You could say, well, it's great. I don't have to face Cade Smith tonight. Oh, and then here comes some guy from AAA Columbus who's got a 1.4 ERA in 40 innings and has some pitch you've never heard of before, and that's what makes him great. For the Royals, they want to have that depth where, okay, we might have had to burn all 3 of those guys in Game 1. Good thing we've got Nick Mears and Steven Cruz for Game 2.
Visiting with Jack Johnson. This is something related to baseball that isn't specifically to the Royals, but John Schreiber is the union rep for the Kansas City Royals, and I know that MLBPA was around the Royals facilities, and certainly there in Arizona, as they just now decided, not just now, but recently with Tony Clark resigning, and now Bruce Meyer is the lead of the Major League Baseball Players Association. We've heard Chris Bassett, Manny Machado, other players weigh in on what seems to will be a pitched battle, Jack, at the end of the season when the CBA comes up, that there is going to be a really difficult and, I think, aggressive fight for a salary cap, and the Players Association with no salary cap. I'm fully expecting a lockout for next year, and this thing dragging on, unfortunately. Have you heard anything around there of any Royals players weighing in on that? John Schreiber weighing in on that? It kind of feels like this is where the owners might be drawing the line in the sand, that this may be the last year we have without some sort of a salary cap, not a luxury tax or the ceiling, the floor, the aprons that we've heard about in different sports, that there may be a closer to the NFL salary cap type deal as the Players Association going through change. One of the worst possible times that you could go through change, although the worst time would be after this season. If Tony Clark resigned, somebody else had to step in. Anything you're hearing around there, as a number of other clubs have had some players weighing in on the salary cap and what they think of owners, because the Royals are in a position where those other teams, Jack, are specifically talking about teams like the Royals.
Absolutely. And yesterday, you got a lot of no comment from Bruce Meyer. John Schreiber did speak to about 40 to 50 reporters, it seemed like. And it was so recent, it was so new, where you understood that not a lot was going to be said. It was hey, we're going to take this day by day. The players are going to vote on who the next person's going to be. We found out that Bruce Meyer is going to be the interim for this situation. And now the focus is going to be, in the coming months, are they going to have anybody back down? Is anybody going to let off the rope a little bit in this game of tug-of-war? Is somebody going to stop digging their heels in the sand? And as I sit here right now, I don't see it. That isn't to say things can't change down the road, but the salary cap is something that the MLBPA and the owners are just so far apart on. The owners, they don't want to, or they do want to have this salary cap, and there's a lot of fans that would want the salary cap. And I have to wonder if the fans' stance on it would change, and maybe I'm way off on this, but it would change slightly if Toronto got the final 2 outs of the World Series last year. Now, Toronto was still a high payroll team, but sometimes in baseball, we've ignored the salary cap when the biggest spending teams, the highest value teams, didn't either make the postseason or they'd win the World Series. Now, I know some fans that are maybe in favor of having no salary cap. They'd say, well, look back to 2023 when the Diamondbacks and Rangers met in the World Series. Well, yeah, the Diamondbacks were a lower payroll team. The Rangers weren't. The middle infielder for the Rangers was making $500 million, it seemed like. So there was that effort to spend, and we now know in baseball that the teams that spend a lot of money, they oftentimes find themselves in the World Series, where the small market teams, you can make the postseason. But, I mean, one of the examples last year, the Brewers were the number 1 seed in the National League. They steamrolled their way to a division title out of the National League Central. The Dodgers were not the 1 seed. What happened when they met in the postseason? The Brewers got steamrolled. I mean, it looked like they were facing the Rockies in that series, that the Brewers couldn't score. All of their talent just seemingly went away. And you could point back to the Dodgers in 2 previous seasons kind of rolling through the postseason. Now, I will say this. Going back to my if Toronto would have gotten the final 2 outs, do fans maybe back down on their salary cap stance? Hell, go back the year before. The Padres were 1 win away from eliminating the Dodgers before the National League Championship Series. Padres were a big spending team, don't get me wrong, but there was this, diversity, if you will, in looking at the recent World Series champs. We hadn't had many repeat winners. It's just now become a bigger deal because every offseason the Dodgers say, well, we're going to go after this guy. We're going to go after this guy. Yep, it doesn't matter if we got Kyle Tucker. We're going after this guy as well, and that frustrates a lot of fans because some teams, they don't have the payroll like that, and quite frankly, they never will unless there is a salary cap implemented in baseball.
Well, and I know that players are looking at the money that's being spent, and they're talking about, owners of different teams, and they should be spending more money. And what's being lost is, the market size, too. It's like, the payroll matters, but market size matters, too, because of how much money you can get from your RSN, if you're into that. But whatever your television network deal is. And we know the Royals are in a different position than the Dodgers. And, in fact, I saw the report a couple days ago. I didn't realize this, that Major League Baseball, because the Dodgers were, having issues with their network deal, 7-8 years ago, allowed them to have a certain percentage higher than every other team that is not part of the revenue sharing. So the Dodgers actually take in $60 million more per year extra that would have been revenue sharing because of that deal that Major League Baseball made with the Dodgers. The Royals, it takes 3 years to get to $60 million. That's the Dodgers just taking in extra on that deal. It's a massive difference. And I've seen these players talk about, well, look at the parity that happens in baseball and look at the parity in other sports. We have all these different winners in baseball, whereas other sports, the NFL this, the NFL that. If you look at the last 5 years and look at market size and just say, well, teams that played in the Super Bowl or World Series from a top 10 market, there are 5 of what would be the 10 participants in the Super Bowl that are from a top 10 market. 9 of the 10 baseball teams that played in the World Series are from a top 10 market. The only one that stands out was Arizona at 12. 12, where, Seattle's 14, the Chiefs are 31, Tampa Bay's 13, all of the, every 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different teams that played in the Super Bowl are lower than the lowest ranked team in Major League Baseball in the last 5 years of playing in the World Series. And I can go back to 10 years, and it's the same thing. I think that's what's being missed by whether it be Manny Machado or Chris Bassett specifically in saying, well, every owner, you can spend all the money. A salary cap's not going to do anything. These owners aren't spending the money either. Well, a salary cap, and this is where the owners have to come in, Jack, a salary cap should come with more revenue sharing because the owners have to figure that out, which is going to be difficult with the individual networks as opposed to the national NFL TV deal that is out there that's easily split among those teams. They already have a form of revenue sharing. They would have to increase that by a whole lot to get to a salary cap. So I'm on board with the players from that standpoint, that if there's going to be a salary cap, then those TV networks need to be way more revenue shared across the league to be able to make it more equitable so that the salary cap matters so teams are closer to get to the top and not going bankrupt because they're trying to get to the floor that's there. That I'm on the players' side. But if the owners are really serious about a salary cap and the revenue sharing is thrown in, then it becomes closer to the NFL, where Patrick Mahomes can play his entire career, and in Pittsburgh they're wondering what they're going to get when they trade Paul Skeens.
Yeah, and that really, to me, has always been such a problem in baseball, and Royals fans experienced that for a number of years of, you like this player? Well, enjoy him on his rookie contract, because there's no way in hell they're going to give him an extension. They don't have the money to give him that extension. And, in that same conversation of you can be mad at the Dodgers for spending a lot of money, well, I have also taken the side of, okay, well, there's no limitations to what they can do right now, so you can hate him, you can have this villain, but technically, with the current landscape of baseball, the current rules, they aren't breaking any rules. I'm not saying that I love the Dodgers or I love what they do or love what they're doing. I hate seeing all these big-name free agents always go to the Dodgers because they have that money to spend. But going back to that point, it also hurts baseball when you have these owners that don't spend any money.
Yes,
right?
true.
They don't even try to put a competitive team on the field. And I think at that point, you're doing a disservice to the fans. To speak about Pittsburgh, they have done what the Royals did 2 years ago, which was, okay, we've got a superstar player who's going to want an extension at some point. It is our duty to build a team that could compete in the postseason. And after they gave Bobby Witt Jr. the extension, they gave Michael Wacha a contract, Seth Lugo. They'd added a couple pieces offensively. They'd added a couple pieces of the bullpen. They went to the postseason. It wasn't the ultimate goal, and you don't raise a banner for losing in the ALDS, but it was good to see a small market team go, we got to try to go for it. We may not spend as much money as the LA Dodgers or the New York Yankees or the New York Mets, the Philadelphia Phillies, but if we catch that team at the right time, we might be able to eliminate them in the same way the Diamondbacks did to the Dodgers the last time they got eliminated in the postseason. So you have this conversation of, yeah, it sucks to see the Dodgers get all of these big-name guys. It also sucks to see a team, well, I guess the Rockies have made a couple moves this offseason, but mostly see the Rockies not do anything. And you can look at their team on paper and go, you can't convince anybody with a brain that they're going to win more than 60 games. There's just no way they would. And even if they did, they're 30 to 40 games out of first place. And that needs to be eliminated in baseball as well, where I don't know if the owners would ever agree to a spending floor that you have to give out there. Like, hey, you can't go in the offseason and not spend anything, right? Even if you believe in your core, you got to add some, because we know that your roster's not as good as you really think it is. And when you can have that even playing field of maybe there is the salary cap, there also might be the salary floor, you can see more competition in baseball. I also would say this, though, too. It's not like the Dodgers are going 120-42. It's still hard to win in this sport.
Yep.
And if you had to ask me right now, and now it's a crazy take, I would still take the field for somebody else to win the World Series this year.
No, I would too.
The likelihood of three-peating, it ain't very high. We know that in Kansas City when it comes to the Super Bowl and how incredibly hard that was for the Chiefs. But for the Dodgers, I mean, who's to say injuries don't happen? Who's to say they don't have an off series in the postseason? We know they're probably going to win the National League West. But then going through that gauntlet of the National League again, as I always like to say in baseball, you just never know what can happen.
And baseball being, I hate when, baseball players bring up the NFL and talk about, well, the salary cap and, they don't, the same teams win all the time in the NFL and they've got a salary cap. And it's like, yeah, because there's no quarterback in Major League Baseball. Like the quarterbacks win in the NFL. Look at, the Kansas City is the 31st media market. And that's why it's like, well, look at all these teams that are lower than top 10. Well, yeah, it's Kansas City, it's Denver, it's Carolina, Charlotte, that's outside of the top 10, Tampa Bay, teams like that. Seattle this year is number 14 in media market. But there's not a quarterback in Major League Baseball that would say, this is the difference maker, and if you hold on to this guy, you can go and win in the postseason. I mean, it's the most important position in all of sports to me, and that's why it's paid like that relative to the other players in its specific sport. But if Major League Baseball was, let's say, softball, let's say they go back and 150 years ago they invent baseball, but it was all underhand. It was like softball today in pitching. Well, then Tariq Skubal can be like Kennedy in Texas Tech and pitch 3 or 4 days in a row. Well, now it's different. Now you get a Tariq Skubal, and it's kind of like a major league, kind of like an NFL quarterback. But you can't. In a 7-game series, he's maybe going to pitch twice. 3-game series is going to pitch once. 5-game series, maybe twice. That's out there. And even when he pitches, is he going 6, 7 innings? What happens if he has a rough outing for a couple of innings? You got to get him out of there because it's the playoffs. You can't allow a game to get away. Whereas an NFL quarterback can have a rough quarter or two, and then the second half can come out and light it up. And hey, look, the Chiefs go and beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl because of what they did in the second half. But in the first half, if Mahomes was a pitcher, do you stay with the 6th inning, 7th inning, and he's kind of hobbled anyway? Let's bring somebody else in. You got to go that route. So there is no quarterback in baseball, and so it's completely different. And there isn't if there was a player like that, like in softball, then I think we'd be talking about, all right, this particular player can make a massive difference, and if you pay that guy and then put other pieces around him, you can win. The difference is in baseball, you need 26 guys, and to build 26 guys that all can make an impact, it takes a lot of money to be able to do that.
It doesn't just take a lot of money. It takes the right development of players. It takes making trades at the right time. It takes staying healthy. That's the beauty of baseball, is you don't have to be good for 15 games or 20 games or 80 games. You got to be good for 85 to 90% of the season if you're going to have a legitimate shot of winning the World Series. And to make the postseason, you're probably on that 70-75% range. But we know everybody has the goal here of winning a World Series. It's not that you wouldn't take a remarkable season from the Royals where maybe they get all the way to Game 7 of the ALCS and they fall short. You don't say it's a disappointment because we know as small market teams, you're not expected to win World Series. That's for the large market teams, and you're hoping, as we saw in 2015, you can beat them maybe a time or two when you're matched up against them in the World Series. But it is an ongoing problem, and I said this yesterday, that it would be the worst possible time for a lockout because I honestly believe that we are entering a stretch where baseball is on the come-up. Yeah. There are more people. There are more eyeballs. They have the World Baseball Classic in a couple of weeks where it's one of the more entertaining events for baseball. You've got a defined villain in the sport, and as much as we may hate that, it's good for any sport. You need somebody to hate, whether you're the Colorado Rockies, the Royals, or the San Diego Padres. You hate the Dodgers because of what they've done the last 2 years. When you have success, it comes with a lot of people hoping that you fall off the pedestal. And so baseball having that is important. But you need to have more competition top to bottom where it can continue to grow. More eyeballs on the sport. More accessibility to fans that crave it. I get asked all the time, like, do you really watch all 162 games? I do. Yeah, I actually enjoy doing that. Yeah. I love, unless I can't, there's other things that come up. But if I got nothing going on, I either want to be there or I want to watch it. And there are so many people like me. And there's so many people like you, like Sterling, like Easton, that want to watch the sport. And baseball has to understand that at a time like this, a lockout pushes everything back, where then people will go, well, if we're not having a season, then why do I care anymore? You got to capitalize on what you have right now.
Jack Johnson there, and the point you made about having to play well for that high percentage of the season. The Royals played 12 games over 500 ball for 84% of the season. The 16%, they went 8-18 in June, and it cost them a division. So 16% of the games, they had a terrible June, and they were out. Other than that, they were 12 games over 500. You can't have that bad of a stretch. It costs you, a division. And, they finished that close, but they were just bad at a bad time, and they don't go to the playoffs. You have to have that. But I don't know, maybe a Kyle Tucker or Tariq Skubal on the roster could have changed things, could have helped you go from 8-18 to, I don't know, 13-13. That would have been perfectly fine. Jack Johnson is more than perfectly fine. Jack, safe travels back. Way to kill it there in Arizona, you and Easton. Hey, how many dinners did you guys have with Carter while you were down there?
0, unfortunately.
What?
I mean, we'd get done.
What is Easton's? What's the reason he's down there if you don't go to dinner with Carter?
I know. It's just been a busier time this go around. I mean, we're usually at the complex a little bit longer than some of the guys, and then after that, they're off going and doing whatever they need to do to get ready for the next day.
Chris Carter, the guy that hit 47 home runs that one year for the Brewers.
Yes, or Chris, you've got to have a fall guy.
You got to have a fall guy.
One of the Chris, is it KHRIS?
Remember Chris Carter?
Yeah, wasn't it KH? Or no, that was Chris Davis, I'm thinking.
That was Chris Davis, yeah. I think Chris Carter was
CRIS. Yes. Was it still? Yeah, it was like the Chris Carter.
Chris.
Was it regular Chris?
Normal Chris.
Like a Chris Davis.
You got to have a fall guy.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Jack, you're the man. Appreciate it. Even though you guys, even though Easton, I don't even know what he went there for. Not even sure.
As you guys got in Radio Row for the Super Bowl, Easton's been killing it.
I bet he has.
He is. Yeah, he's been getting everybody. He's been doing great social media work, getting the videos that I couldn't even dream of getting out here. So, huge credit to him. I'm just here sitting in a chair talking into a mic. That's what I've done.
Has he asked every single player that he's interviewed what bat they like? Easton, Marucci, Victus, Louisville Slugger? Like, that should be his question to everybody.
It should. It should.
Ridiculous.
But, yeah, he's been able to get everybody that's needed. And who knows, when my back was turned, he might have interviewed somebody and asked about their favorite bat.
I hope so. Come on. Jack, you're the man. Appreciate it. Safe travels back, brother.
Of course. See you guys tomorrow.
All right, there's Jack Johnson. Great stuff from him, as always. Great stuff down there in Arizona. Looking forward to some of those interviews that he did, like the Matt Strom one. That's there in Arizona, one of his favorite ones that he had a chance to talk to, because I think Matt Strom is fascinating. I mean, he owns a farm. He farms in the off season. He has his own baseball card TV show. He's from Fargo. I mean, come on, you could talk about the TV show or the movie.
Great movie.
Absolutely. Good TV show, too. Really enjoyed it. And the great part about it is they're standalone seasons. You could watch it like you could start in season 3. It'd be like when you did with the Entourage, which was interesting because that's not standalone. There's a build up to that. Warzone next. I was looking at the market size. We talked about that with Jack Johnson because Chris Bassett of the team that plays Major League Baseball out there somewhere.
Sacktown.
Is that right?
Don't they play in Sacktown?
I mean, is he part of the A's?
Well, he was, wasn't he?
That's fine. I actually don't know.
He was part of the A's.
I haven't started my fantasy baseball prep yet, really.
You know what's hilarious?
So
I
I'll get
just
into that.
got a notification just now that said your fantasy baseball league has been auto-renewed. He was with Toronto last year.
And he's with
I knew that.
Sacramento now?
No, he's with Oakland for a long, long time. He's with Toronto now.
Okay, he's with Toronto. Okay, so.
Oh, no, he's with the Orioles now. That's right. He signed the contract with the Orioles.
There we go.
Yeah.
So we'll figure out. He plays for a Major League Baseball team, which is what I thought. I was really pretty sure he played Major League Baseball. Anyway, he's the Players Union rep for apparently the Orioles now. And he had this to say on a salary cap. The salary cap doesn't fix anything. If you look at every major sport that has a salary cap, we have the best parity. The salary cap is not the issue. Having suppressed salaries across the league so owners can make more money is not the answer. Like, if I tell you in 25 years the Dodgers will be going to 10 World Series and winning 7 of them, is that an issue? Because that's the Patriots. The Chiefs have been to 6 or 7. The Eagles have been to 4 or 5. The parity in our sport is better than any other sport. So we will make changes to try to help the so-called bottom teams out. But a salary cap and suppressing salaries and taking from players to try to help the so-called bottom teams spend more, that's not the answer. Because, again, if you're trying to make a competitive league across the board, we have proof that every single league has less parity than ours. So how can you sit there and say a salary cap is going to fix this when every single salary cap sport has less parity than ours? It makes no sense. What is missed by that, a number of things, is one, a Major League Baseball player or a player in their particular sport not understanding the economics of the sport is not much of a surprise. But a players union rep should understand the economics of the game and how a salary cap would change what the lower teams are paying because it comes with a salary floor. A salary cap will not be agreed upon by the players unless there is a salary floor. And a guy like Chris Bassett is interesting because he ain't Kyle Tucker.
No, but he's made a lot of money. He signed I'm gonna look at his contract. It was good, and he had that big one with Toronto. So he's more of 1 year, $18.5 million.
Okay, there you go.
That's a pretty good for a 36-year-old guy. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, there you go. That's really nice. Good for Chris Bassett.
Bassett Hound.
Yeah, 4 ERA guy. Makes $18 million per year.
Come on, he's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Don't do that.
Either way,
he signed a 3-year, $63 million contract with Toronto.
Good. Yes.
He's more of the.
No wonder he doesn't want a salary cap because
Correct.
He doesn't want the players that are lesser than he is getting more money, and guys that are at the top 5-6%, getting less money.
Correct.
Because again, there is not a quarterback in Major League Baseball that would demand 20, depending on the quarterback, how good he is and how much he wants, 25% of the salary cap in a particular year. There is not that one guy. A right fielder wouldn't make that big of a difference.
Sure.
To where you would pay him that much money if there was a salary cap. It can make a difference, but you're not paying him 25% of your cap the way you would a quarterback. If it got to that.
I'm trying to think of who would be the closest.
There isn't one.
Well, Shohei, but he's a
Shohei
weird
would be the
contract.
closest.
Yeah, he's got a weird contract.
But if he was on the open market, he would be the closest because you can get a couple of things out of him. You can have him as a pitcher, and you can have him as a DH, and one of the best hitters in baseball, and one of the best pitchers in baseball when he's healthy. But what's missed in all this is when you talk about, well, there's so much more parity when it comes to our sport instead of other sports because of the different teams that are winning. Yes, the different teams that are winning. You've got Dodgers, Rangers, Astros, Braves, Nationals, Red Sox, Astros, Cubs, Royals, going back to 2015. That's the last 11 years. All those different teams that have won. And now with the NFL, you've got Seahawks, Eagles, Chiefs, Rams, Bucks, Chiefs, Patriots, Eagles, Patriots, Broncos, Patriots.
I get the thought process of what he's saying as far as, traditionally speaking, there has been probably more winners because the AFC has been dominated by two teams for so long. It's been the Patriots and Chiefs, so I don't argue that, and the Eagles have been fairly dominant in the NFC. But what I think he, as you're alluding to, fails to bring up is it can happen because the Chiefs are a small market team.
They're market 31.
Boston, by the way, is not a big market itself. I know
they're number 7.
I know it's bigger, but it's not like it is New York. It's not L.A. It's not Chicago.
No, but it's still 7 compared to 31. I mean, the Bengals are 34. The Bengals are the smallest market that's made the World Series or the Super Bowl at market 34. In the 12 years that I looked at, going back to 2014, when the Royals first made the playoffs, because the Royals being in it, or it first made the World Series, the Royals being in the World Series helps Chris Bassett's argument. So I didn't want to go, well, let's start in 2016 after the media market 31 is out of it.
Well, let's start at 17, so that way we don't count Cleveland either.
Take out the Guardians in 2016 as well. Because if we wanted to start at 2017, oh boy, the numbers look terrible for Chris Bassett. But if we go all the way back to 2014, it's 12 years that we have. So going back to 2014, 12 years in the NFL. And if we look at 24 different teams that are in the top 5 media market, in baseball, 11 of the 24 teams that made the World Series, top 5 media market. 5 in the NFL. So half. 13 in the NFL total were in the top 10. 19 of the 24 teams in the World Series that made the World Series in the last 12 years were a top 10 media market. Arizona, Tampa Bay, Kansas City, Cleveland. And Kansas City represents 2 of the 5.
Yeah.
So 5 times 4 cities. Outside of the top 10, 4 cities outside of the top 10 have made a World Series in the last 12 years. And if we're looking at winners of the World Series, top 10 media markets, 11 of the 12 winners of the World Series are from top 10 media markets. The only one, obviously, the Royals in 15. If I just go from 16 and say, let's do an even 10 years, it would be 10 of 10. Whereas the NFL, top 10 media markets in the last 12 years, the winners, 6 of them, 6 in the top 10. 6 Super Bowl winners have been in the top 10 media markets. So the parity actually is different. Because you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 24 participants in the Super Bowl in the NFL in the last 12 years are outside of the top 15. 3 in Major League Baseball are outside of the top 3. Or outside of the top 15, sorry. 3 teams that have made the World Series, going back to 2014, including the Royals, are outside of the top 15 media markets in all of baseball. And 0 since 2017.
I think it's fairly obvious to show that you can do anything in a small market in the NFL. It's not a hindrance being a small market team versus a large market team. It shouldn't make much of a difference at all. While in baseball, it is an absolute hindrance of winning a World Series or getting there. I think making the playoffs is small market, big market, not quite as big of a deal. But when it comes to the next level, that's when you really start seeing it play a massive
it's a 7-game series.
Yeah.
And back-to-back 7-game series that you have to win. Well, you're looking at the best teams rising to the top because you get opportunities after opportunities after opportunities to be able to make up for whatever took place.
And media market's the best way of doing this versus even just city size, because when you look at media market, that is
it's the TV contract.
That's the TV contract, how much money's coming in, how much. And so when people are like, well, why don't the small markets teams pay more? Well, they can't. I mean, they can probably play a little more. Let's be real. They're still trying to run a business and make some money. But when you are getting millions and millions and millions and millions more than the other peers, Dodgers, Yankees, Chicago, well, you're going to have a massive advantage. It's just advantageous to be in a larger market. You're making more money, means you can spend more money. It's why it's so hard for Sherman. It's why 14, 15, quite frankly, even 16 with Cleveland was so impressive, that run of 3 straight, because that's the rarity. Those are the outliers, and it happened 3 straight seasons.
Yeah, where a team outside of the top 15 media markets made the World Series. Royals, and then Guardians. But, like, you know, as we take a break, here's the number to think about when we're talking about the Dodgers versus the Royals, and Dodgers number 2 media market in the country. 34% of your local TV revenue deal goes to revenue sharing in Major League Baseball. Not 100% like the national NFL, which is different because you've got the national TV contract, which, by the way, Jerry Jones was a big advocate of. If Jerry Jones did not have a bigger, longer-term health of the NFL view, he could have said, hell no, we want every dime here in Dallas. We're going to get a local TV market that's going to be a TV network deal. It's going to be great. It's going to be much bigger than Kansas City or some of these other teams. No, he was like, no, for the betterment of the league, he was one of the advocates of it needs to be entire revenue sharing for the national TV deal. Easier when you don't have 162 games and playing all the time, when you've got the weekends and stuff to make those national TV deals. But the Dodgers, they bring in yearly $334 million is what they make revenue on their TV network deal per year. 34% of that goes to revenue sharing. 34% was supposed to go to revenue sharing. But when they were filing for bankruptcy in 2011, Major League Baseball made a deal with them that would exempt a large portion of that from revenue sharing. So the Dodgers actually get to keep $66 million more dollars per year than they would if Major League Baseball didn't make a deal with them because they were filing for bankruptcy.
Royals file for bankruptcy.
That deal goes till 2039.
Oh, my God.
2039, they keep $66 million more every. That's twice as much as the Royals bring in on their network deal alone. That's the extra that they get to keep, that they would have to go to revenue sharing. But Major League Baseball went that far out of their way to protect the Dodgers. So that's what we're talking about. They're well, why don't other owners spend money? What money? Well, they're billionaires. Tied up in the team.
Yeah, it's not liquid. That's my pet peeve. And people are like, he's a billionaire. You think he's got millions?
The Brown family with the Bengals, why don't you spend more money? Because he'd have to sell the team to spend it.
It's not liquid.
Like when you're bringing in $300 million in revenue, now take, a third of that goes to the revenue sharing, but that's just an example of one team versus the Royals. And when he talks about the parity, equal opportunity doesn't mean equal results. Just because you have the same opportunity to win doesn't mean that it's going to be random. Every year is going to be somebody different.
Chris Bassett with a 2 scoops of acid take.
Sports or Leisure next.
You're into sports, but nothing wrong with a little leisure time. Why not both?
You're going to have a heart attack by the time you're 40 if you don't learn to relax.
It's time for sports or leisure on The Zone with Jason Anderson.
All right, time for a little sports or leisure. 913-381-0810 is the phone number. Playing for $25 to Johnny's Tavern. That's on the line. If you get a sports question and a leisure question right, you shall win. You shall not pass if you get one wrong. That question is out there available for someone to call in and request. If they know the answer to it, you can be closer to winning $25 to Johnny's Tavern. We give out the right answer when it has been answered correctly, or we have simply run out of time to play. That's how you play. But the first step is calling 913-381-0810 to play sports or leisure. The final step is going to Johnny's Tavern and enjoying your $25 gift card. 10 area locations, including Lawrence and Topeka, home of the Coaches Show, Hawk Talk, with Bill Self and Lance Leipold during those seasons. It is Johnny's Tavern, 10 locations, Lawrence, Topeka included. $25 we give away to Johnny's Tavern. I could use some pizza from Johnny's, or some Wilson wings, or some Espinachos.
Do we just leave and do that now? We allowed to?
Mike, can you host the rest of the show?
I mean, that sounds great to me, right?
Well done. He was like, hold on, I gotta find it.
I was gonna say I gotta find my hotkey.
There you go. That's great. Yeah, I guess we'll stay. You know, we do it for the people.
We do it for you.
We're out here for the people. Trick-letta kids. You know, we're out here for everybody.
We're
givers.
Well, you were actually on a minutes restriction this week, so
I was on a.
You're Darren Peterson. This we have no idea.
Like I said,
cramps the past 2 days.
Last couple of days flew by. Let me tell you that one. Like a bee. Just flew by. All right, 913-381-0810. Categories in sports or leisure. On the sports side, we have franchise tags, Chiefs-specific franchise tags. It's franchise tag window opening time in the NFL. We'll see if there is a player that gets franchise tagged. Only 2 players last year were franchise tagged in the NFL, that being T. Higgins and Trey Smith. Trey Smith, not an answer to some of these, to one of these questions in the Chiefs franchise tag, because I just told you he was franchised.
I'll take the Trey
year.
Smith answer,
Damn it.
please.
And then also, we have a few questions with rookies at spring training for the Royals. These are not training camp darlings that we talk about that are random people. These are guys that were rookies in their spring training that were significant players. As last year, Jack was trying to make the team out of spring training, and this year, Carter.
Brian Goodwin's 1 for 49.
Damn it, that was one of them.
Okay,
Shoot.
figured. Yeah.
That sucks. Well, mark that one off.
Sorry.
Mark him off the list then. This guy's dead. Mark him off the list then. What about leisure?
Potpourri. Riddles.
Yep.
And we've added some more to name that movie.
All right. Layups.
Feels like people, well, not this time. There's some harder ones to name that movie now because the easy ones are gone. There are some easy ones.
Okay.
But there's some tough ones.
Okay. Frankly, my darling, I don't give a damn.
Spinal Tap. That was Spinal Tap. Yeah.
Or was it Scarlet? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about, though. That's what I'm saying. You know, you can't handle the truth.
Yeah, there's no more of...
Now imagine she's white. Some of those layups.
Yeah, no
more.
more.
None of that? All right, 913-381-0810. I'm ready to go. Sterling, you ready to play?
Fact.
What about you, Michael?
Fact. I was going to say fiction, but I have no choice. Fact.
That's right. 913-381-0810. To the phone lines we go. Charles leads us off here on this Thursday edition of the show. Charles, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Sports, and let's try the franchise tag.
All right, let's go with this one then. Coming to the Chiefs via trade with only 1 year left on his contract. He was tagged after that year while they worked out a long-term deal. That never happened, and he played that 1 year with the Chiefs. He left as a free agent the next year. Only 2 years total in a Chiefs jersey after they traded for him.
2 years total after they traded.
He came here with 1 year left on his deal and an agreement that they would work out a long-term deal, but the franchise tag was something they would do.
Yep.
2 years left as a free agent, got less money than the contract the Chiefs offered him
Still
for a long-term deal.
Still currently playing in the NFL.
Still playing in the NFL. That is correct.
That'll be your hint. Any more hints,
correct.
it'll be too easy. But he's still currently playing in the NFL.
Yep, and was franchise tagged by the Chiefs. Couldn't work out a long-term deal. Played on the tag. Let him go the next year because they tried to work out another long-term deal. He decided, I'm going to test the free agent market. Turned down the Chiefs' offer. Got less money.
Still currently playing.
And the Chiefs went and won some Super Bowls. Well, at least one more. Went to two more.
Two more Super Bowls after that?
Maybe. Went to.
That's
the last hint.
Yeah, no more hints because I think this one, you should get this one.
No mas hints.
I'm going to take a swing in the dark and say L'Jarius Sneed.
It was not L'Jarius Sneed. Not a bad guess, Charles. Not a bad guess at all. 913-381-810.
Not a bad guess. No.
Let's go to, because it would have been,
around the same time frame. Close to it.
Yeah, and the tag and
to
trade and things like that the Chiefs had to work out and figure out with L'Jarius Sneed. Let's go to John next up. 913-381-810. John, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Well, I tell you guys, even though I'm sick, I am not playing soft this week. So I'm in this to win it.
In it to win it. There you go.
You're playing hard this week. I like it.
I am. I think I'd. What were the other sports categories besides the Chiefs franchise players?
It was just the Royals rookies at spring training.
I think since it's spring training and since I don't know the franchise question, if Denny Matthews is around, I'd love it.
There we go.
Question from Denny.
Let's go with this one. All right. This player was one of the best prospects in all of baseball when he hit Major League camp. Batted .317, .419, and .556. 2 home runs and 63 at-bats. Despite a shoulder injury midway through camp, good enough for him to break camp with the big league club. One of the more anticipated rookie debuts in Royals history. Started his career with bases loaded.
Bases loaded. That's Alex Gordon.
Alex Gordon. Gone, Gordon. That's correct. That's a college baseball Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Royals Hall of Famer, Alex Gordon. 1 Hall of Fame vote, Alex Gordon. For the rest of his life, it does not matter. Alex Gordon got a Hall of Fame vote. Take that, Sterling.
I have 0.
Exactly right.
I have 0.
Alex Gordon and I have combined for 1 Hall of Fame vote. Wow. Sterling, leisure. You got it with John.
Name that movie. We have potpourri and we have riddles.
All right. Well, since I'm playing hard, I'm playing with that sore hammy and everything, I'm going to go with give me a tough name that movie.
Name that movie.
A tough one. Make them work here.
Okay. There are only 2 things I can't stand in this world. People who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch.
Oh, my gosh. So I know the character. It's which movie is it? It's a Michael Myers line, right? So it's Austin Powers, but which Austin Powers?
Yeah, you're right.
I don't speak freaky deaky Dutch.
All right, is it International Man of Mystery? Is it Gold Member? Is it?
Yeah.
Gosh.
I feel like I want to give it to him because he already got.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll go with International.
No.
What? No, Gold Member?
Yes.
I like gold.
I like gold.
Yeah, there's only 2.
Speak freaky deaky Dutch.
I just love that. There's only 2 things I can't stand in this world: people who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch.
Yeah, it's like Swanson. It's it's 2 things I hate in this world: liars and skim milk. It's just water lying about being milk.
It's true.
Let's go. That's a winner for John. We'll put him on hold. Get your information. Congratulations, sir. Well done.
Thank you, guys.
How about that? There you go. Gold member and Alex Gordon.
Yeah.
And he's a gold member of the College Hall of Fame and a royal blue jacket wearer for the Royals. Let's go to Tim next up on Sports Radio 810. Sports or leisure, Tim, what side would you like to start with?
So the sports were the franchise tags for the Chiefs, and what was the baseball one?
It's Royals rookies spring training debuts. Well, spring trainings with these pretty significant players.
Their debuts in the spring training game.
No, just their spring trainings.
Like it probably won't be Aaron Guile.
Like Alex Gordon had 63 at bats in spring training before breaking camp with the big league club. Slugged 556. Broke camp with the big league club. One of the most anticipated debuts. Started his career with bases loaded. So that ended up being Alex Gordon.
So rookies. I'll start with that.
Okay. This man made his Major League Baseball debut in a September call-up, but he would enter spring training the next year as a top 15 prospect in all of baseball. He broke camp with the big league club, winning the opening day center field job and leadoff hitting role on his way to winning Rookie of the Year.
Yep. Good one.
Not Tom Goodwin.
No, it was a good question.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay. So I got lost in my brain was going on tangents.
No hints on this one because the hints there are opening day.
He broke in September. He
had a September call-up was his debut, but still rookie
and what
status.
Year was that?
Oh, I can't tell you.
No.
It's the year that he won Rookie of the Year.
Good.
Yeah, there you go.
Good try.
Okay.
Leadoff hitter, center fielder, Rookie of the Year. Those are the hints.
He had a 4.7 WAR.
Previous century, perhaps. Or
more hints.
At least more than like midway between the two championships.
No more hints.
All right. Center fielder.
It wasn't the 1800s.
That's true. Yep.
It wasn't. No, that would have been 2 centuries. I guess I'll go center field. Did he stay for the Royals for his career, or did he got traded?
No more hints.
All right, no more hints. Okay, I think I've narrowed it down to 2.
Well, pick one.
Beltran.
Nice.
Carlos Beltran is correct.
Oh, my gosh.
Beltran.
I was about to say Johnny Damon for the longest time, too.
Well, you would need Rookie of the Year for Johnny Damon to win that for him to be the answer there. But he did not. Carlos Beltran did, and Johnny was a corner outfielder. He played center, but Carlos Beltran, center fielder, opening day leadoff, and won Rookie of the Year. Over to leisure with Sterling, or unless you got it right already, I don't remember.
We have riddles.
Great.
Name that movie and potpourri.
I did get it right. Aren't the movie lines getting a little tougher because we're getting towards the last of them?
I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know. That last one wasn't too bad. But let's go potpourri. I have never done that, Cam.
All right, potpourri. I just found this one interesting, and I like to teach people and learn things on this show. What's the most consumed beverage in the world that is not water?
Well, that's kind of a random question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why it's potpourri.
But it's made with water, I bet.
I mean, almost every drink's made with water.
Well, yeah, especially light beer. Okay, let's see.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
In the world, I might have to go with.
In the world.
I can't think of.
Where water
coffee
doesn't
and tea.
count.
The coffee-tea conflict is always there between
But
how
the
many
most
parts of the world drink one versus the
consumed
other.
liquid.
Might.
Throw a dart. It's not Carlos Beltran or Johnny Damon.
That's good. What are the most popular people? Tea.
Did you say tea?
Yeah.
It is tea. Tea is correct.
We were looking for S.
Oh, my
Tea is
God.
correct. Well done.
Tea, the most consumed beverage in the world not named water.
I would have gone with coffee.
You went coffee.
I went coffee, and I was wrong. I guess I should know the Brits.
Yeah.
The Brits, they have tea time. All right.
You would tip me over?
What?
the
The
two
teapot?
largest countries on the planet, India and China, right?
Yeah.
They drink tea instead of coffee.
Correct.
Well, there you go. That makes sense. I thought you'd tip you over like a teapot and pour you out. We'll pour you right over to Michael. 913-381-0810. Congrats, Tim. Well done. Let's go to Cajun. Next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Cajun, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with?
Let's do leisure.
All right, we have Name That Movie, we have Potpourri, and we have Riddles.
Which one you said was the hard one?
I don't know. They're all easy-ish.
Earlier you said...
Name That Movie.
Well,
There's some harder
Name that
ones.
movie. There you go. Since you like the hard ones, I'll take that one.
This one's slightly harder. This one's not even that hard. This is just kind of fun.
We're going to mark
Oh, well, what the fun is it if it ain't
Cajun,
hard?
you'll get this one. I know you will.
Okay.
And it's because I just love staying in line. Surely you
Right.
can't be serious. I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
We have to get this man to a hospital. What is it? A big building with patients. That would be Airplane.
What a good movie.
Roger.
It's just such a great movie. As a kid, I remember watching this.
How's our Victor?
We
have clearance,
what was the best? The Pistons name. Kareem, you have to drag Lambier's ass.
Had to drag. Tell your dad. drag Lambier's ass up and down the court.
It's a great. It still holds up.
Awesome.
It's still a great movie.
So great.
Awesome movie.
So great.
All right, now let me lose the sports question.
That's all right.
Where's that?
Chiefs franchise tags and Royals rookies in spring training.
Royals rookies. I always lose these. Go ahead.
All right. Well, let's see. Before the Royals had the best farm system in all of baseball, this player was in spring training. Only 20 at-bats with the big league squad that spring, but he slugged .950 and got on base at .520, impressing the veteran teammates. The club, although still assigned him to minor league camp, but he would only spend 26 games with AAA, and after a torrid start, he was called up to replace Keila Ka'ahui at first base on May 6th.
Yep.
Some would say it was a service time manipulation, but I wouldn't say that.
Oh God, I remember that time that Keila. Is that the Tony Pena era?
That's
It was close.
Tony Pena
just
Jr.
after Tony Pena.
I don't remember Keila Ka'ahui.
He replaced Keila Ka'ahui at first base.
He was incredible in the
Not
minors. I know.
Keila was, yes.
Yeah, Kia Kaiahui was amazing in the minors, and that dude had warning track power. With the new fences, maybe Kia Kaiahui would have been a stud.
But this guy was also one of the best prospects in baseball, and had the 20 at-bats with the big league camp, and then he got reassigned, even though the veterans were like, quietly, what are we doing here? And then May 6th, he was called up. Weird. Just number the 26 total games, all he needed in AAA.
Weird.
26 games.
And then he was ready.
Yeah, totally ready
I know
after 26
you're trying to
games.
give it to me. I'm blanking. Tony Pena Jr.
Cajun, it was not Tony Pena Jr.
All right, have a good one, guys.
You are the man. Love Cajun.
Always fun when he comes on. I like Cajun.
By the way, Cajun with, not Cajun, but Tony Pena Jr. Brought about one of the best lines from Danny Klingscale, that when Tony Pena was batting like 340 in like the first 2 weeks when he had like 5 triples.
It was amazing.
And Danny on one of the shows said, if Tony Pena hits 300, I'll swim to the Dominican. He didn't have to swim there because Tony Pena Jr. quickly tanked the batting average after that torrid start.
I think I'm the only human being in the world who has a George Brett and Tony Pena Jr. signed ball.
You are. That is correct. You are the only one. I think I'm the only one with a George Brett, Buck O'Neil, Joe Carter signed baseball.
Yeah, but you got to have Tony Pena Jr. in there somewhere.
That's a good point. If you don't have Tony Pena Jr., what's the point?
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's awesome that you got a George Brett and Tony Pena. What are you doing?
Well, he came up and he had like 5 triples, and I was
why
like,
would you get him on the George Brett? You can't buy a new baseball. Just buy a new baseball.
I don't know
Go
why.
collect bottle caps like Sandlot. Get a new baseball.
I don't know why, but I don't think it was the same game. I don't know how I would have gotten both.
You took the George.
I think I took the George Brett signed ball to a game.
Unless you already had Tony Pena Jr.'s autograph on a ball and it was the only ball you had, and you're like, oh, George, here you go.
Maybe that was
Sign
the
that
way.
one.
I don't know. I was like 13.
My nephew has a Eddie Kinnison signed Dante Hall jersey.
It's incredible. I bet Dante Hall signed baseball. All I had. My mom was walking down, saw Dante Hall,
real?
and you're not going to get a Dante Hall sign.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, it's
that
like
actually is true.
Randy Jackson on the samurai sword.
It's Dante Hall X Factor on a baseball. I love random things because why wouldn't you have that?
Or Eddie Kinnison on a Dante Hall
Also,
jersey.
my question to my mom was, why did you have a baseball in your purse? What are you working on your curve?
As one does.
Working on your grip?
Yeah.
What's happening here?
Just if a baseball game breaks out and she doesn't have a baseball, then what's the point? She's left out of the game.
Shout out moms.
That's right. What if she hits a home run and it goes to the beast? You know, you got to keep playing the game. More Zone next.
USA, baby. Want to know why betting the winter games on FanDuel makes sense? Because it makes dollars. From game lines to medal counts to finding your angle on the events you care about most, FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action. United States right now looks like third place currently in the medal count, but the winter games are on, and there's no better way to follow them than with a bet on FanDuel. Curling matches that start slow and then get tense fast. Drama permeating throughout curling matches. Come on, Canada. What are you doing? Speed skating decided by inches, and hockey games that feel different from the opening face-off. If you watched USA women's hockey the other day, it was electric. I'm telling you right now, the best place for all the action is right here on FanDuel. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started.
21 plus and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome back to the Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sterling Holmes, Jason Anderson, Michael Darcy, giving away $25 to Johnny's Tavern. All you have to do is get 2 questions right. It's super easy. What is that? That's called sports or leisure. Resetting the categories right here on the leisure side. We have potpourri. We have Name That Movie, and we have riddles. On the sports side, Jason, what do we have?
We've got Royals in spring training, Royals rookies in spring training, and we have franchise tags specifically for the Chiefs. You know, because spring training's going on, and the franchise tag window opened up yesterday. We'll see who's tagged. Trey Smith and T. Higgins, only players that were tagged last year. So it is Chiefs franchise tags and Royals rookies in spring training. We ready to play again for segment number 2?
Let's do it.
Don't you hate when a fun conversation gets interrupted by work?
Yeah.
I mean, just like, come on.
I'm just yelling down the hallway. Jason.
Trying to enjoy myself here.
Jason.
You ask me all these personal questions. Let's go to
you're on a minutes restriction still.
That's right. That's exactly 100%. Oaks, next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Oaks, what side do you want to start with?
Do you guys still have the franchise tag player for the Chiefs? I think you asked earlier.
Yes, we do.
Orlando Brown Jr., I believe.
Yes, we do. Orlando Brown is correct. That was the franchise tag question earlier. Orlando Brown. Over to leisure with Sterling.
And I'll take potpourri, please.
Potpourri. Who is the only U.S. president to serve more than 2 terms in office?
Oof. Oh, man. I had no clue.
Oh, come on. You know this. World War II. Things were going on, and you needed continuity. And
let's go Eisenhower.
'Twas not Eisenhower.
Okay. But not a bad guess.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Folks, thank you for playing, man. 913-388-10. Questions out there available. Let's go to Cody next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Cody, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
I'll take whatever one has the answer, FDR.
Correct. That is FDR.
Take the FDR question.
We learn things on this show.
That's right.
This is a teaching show as well. The only president to serve more than 2 terms. FDR.
There you go.
Be a part of it.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you, Cody. On to the sports side, we have Chiefs franchise tags and we have Royals rookie spring trainings.
I'll do the Chiefs.
All right, Chiefs franchise tag for you. This lifelong Chief Ring of Honor player, 6-time Pro Bowler, first Pro Bowl came in a contract year, resulting in a franchise tag. Scott Pioli said it was their top priority in the offseason to get an extension done, and before the deadline, they did. 5 years, $60 million. He would play 7 more years for the Chiefs after that, and moving into the Chiefs' Ring of Honor.
Uh,
I'll tell you, it was on the defensive side. Defensive side.
Defensive side. Can you run those stats by me again?
Yes. Let's see. 6-time Pro Bowler. He would play 7 more years after his free agent year. He made his first Pro Bowl in his contract year, which resulted in him being a highly coveted player in the free agent market. Chiefs franchised him, gave him 5 years, $60 million. Defensive player.
Okay, I got it.
You got it right,
okay.
Sterling? Look at you. We didn't even have to go through, like, hand fighting.
No, I know.
To do that.
Normally I'm trying to spell it out, and he's like, what are you talking about?
'Cause if we had to do a bunch of hand fighting, this guy would win.
True.
Gosh, I'm thinking.
Was it
Eric Berry?
Was it Ryan Harris that we talked to at the Super Bowl that said he was the best? This guy was the best hand fighter that he remembers going up against.
It was not Eric Berry.
I think it was Ryan Harris because he played a year with the Chiefs. And 14 was the year that he played with the Chiefs when they did
Tom
not.
Ali.
Tamba Ali is correct. Well done. I don't know how you got that one. Tamba Ali was one of the
player
Chiefs.
I can think of in the Scott Pioli era.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
The D line was any good.
Yes, Tamba Ali.
Glenn Dorsey?
Oddly enough, they franchise tagged Glenn Dorsey.
Tyson Jackson.
Another one that they franchise. Ryan Sims.
Ryan Sims.
A lot of guys deserving of the franchise tag. Cody, we'll put you on hold, get your information. Congratulations, sir. Well done.
Thanks.
913-381-810. It's just that easy. I'm not even sure how many winners we have so far. Couple three so far. Let's see if we can get another one. Let's go to Travis next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Travis, sports or leisure, what side would you like to start with?
Let's do sports first and do the Royals.
All right, very good. There's a question out there already that we had.
One's Eric Hosmer, so I can take that one, I guess.
Very good. Eric Hosmer is correct. Was brought up after, some would say, service time manipulation.
That's right. I brought all my kids to his debut.
That's right. Well done.
Nice.
It was a great game to go to.
I took all my kids to every Keelik Iahui game. So I was almost the same as you. And then when Hosmer came up, never again.
He was on the media guide, or the players, whatever, when we went there for Hosmer's debut, Pia was on the front page of the program or whatever for the game.
That's awesome.
I went to every Willie
May 6th.
Bloomquist game.
Yeah, well, not many.
And Mike Jacobs game.
No, that makes sense,
Yeah.
yes.
Big Mike Jacobs guy.
May 6th, that date, when Eric Hosmer made his debut. Over to leisure with Sterling.
We have one left in potpourri. We have riddles, and we have Name That Movie.
Let's do Name That Movie.
I'm trying to do the voice. Benjamin is nobody's friend. If Benjamin was an ice cream flavor, he'd be Pralines and Richard. I can't say what it is, but one of my favorite movies of all time.
Pralines and D?
Yeah, Pralines and D. Benjamin is nobody's friend. If Benjamin were an ice cream flavor, he'd be Pralines and Richard.
Oh, my goodness. That's the movie I've not seen. I know I have not seen this movie.
I know you have. I'd imagine you have. It came out in 1992.
It came out in 92?
Yeah, it came out in 92. I can give some other ones. When ordering Chinese, when they ordered Chinese food, he wanted the cream of.
Oh, yeah. You don't need to know that.
Some young guy.
No, what? Huh? What's up? No, not sure what. Hello?
Not Wayne's World? If it's not Wayne's World, I'm wrong.
It is Wayne's World. I wasn't
Well done.
expecting you to finish that line. We were trying to keep it,
Travis,
PC on here.
What the heck? Jeez,
it's
Louise.
called the suck cut. It sucks while it cuts.
Well, it certainly does suck.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yes,
Travis out here. We're trying to not get in trouble with the FCC. He's like, I know the end of this line. I made sure I said he'd be Pralines and nothing.
Take me, Garth. Where? You need a coat and I'm low on gas. Can I be Frank? Sure. Can I still be Garth?
I just always love Benjamin is nobody's friend.
With you as always, Garth.
That was a bad Garth impersonation, I feel like.
Yeah, mine or yours? Both?
Mine.
But I fell on my keys. I always loved that one. The running.
Yeah, the running.
Wait up! I fell on my keys.
You're gonna spew into
Go
this.
to Nick next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Nick, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with?
Sports.
We got Royals rookie spring training and franchise tags.
Franchise tag.
All right, franchise tag. We'll go with this one. This player led the NFL in sacks in a contract year. Seemed to be a theme there with not getting guys done earlier. That resulted in a franchise tag and, unfortunately, ultimately a trade.
Yep.
He would continue his Hall of Fame career with 3 more teams after the Chiefs.
That is an unfortunate situation that happened, and that would be Jared Allen.
Jared Allen is correct. Maybe get it done before the last year of his contract. Take care of him. Nope. Let's just wait till the end.
Well,
Agree.
That's King Carl, and it's fine.
Yep. Just wait until the end. Wait until the end. Wait until the end. Wait until the end.
And then overpay.
Yes. And Pioli had that same issue too.
Yeah.
Although Dorsey did too. Although I would say Dorsey more than Pioli with the Eric Berry and the Justin Houston and all of that stuff. Over to the leisure with Sterling.
One left in potpourri. We have Name That Movie, and we have riddles.
Name that movie.
$6 and my left nut says we're not landing in Chicago.
These are great.
You like these? These are pretty good.
I had no idea. I'm going to go trains, planes, and automobiles.
Yeah, baby. That's
So
it. Oh, what?
Is that it?
That's it.
Why didn't you do the rental car line?
Yeah, you want me to do that line?
Yeah. Dieter would have.
Yeah, Dieter would have done that line. You know how hard it is because that movie is so good, but doesn't have a ton of radio-friendly quotes or just even quotes in general. It's just a great movie. But I was like, $6 and my left nut says we're not landing in Chicago.
Here's an idea. When you're telling these little stories, have a point. It makes it so much more enjoyable for the listener. That's a winner, right?
That's a winner.
Jared Allen and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Nick, we'll get your information. Congratulations. Hold on. There we go. And we'll send him over to talk to Michael. There we go. There's a big fly in here. That's a big old fly.
That's a thick fly.
Shoe fly.
Well,
Don't bother me.
do you have any honey?
Why is that, Sterling?
Because you can catch flies with honey, but you can catch more honeys being fly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's go to T-Box next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. T-Box, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Let's go leisure today. How about an old movie if you got one of those, Sterling?
Old movie. I have
Airplane old.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
It's older.
Older.
But not airplane old.
No, it's not airplane old. This is like 90s.
Yeah.
I have nipples.
You can
think I
milk anything
recognize
with
that
nipples.
line, but there's not a chance I'm going to come up with the movie.
I bet you do.
Any other lines from the movie?
Let's see. You a pothead? Fucker?
Well, you can't say the last name.
Why not? It's not that movie.
You know what you
I
do.
Trying to think of the Matthew McConaughey movie, but
No.
it can't be that one.
No, it's not that one.
Welcome in. The beer's cold, the pool is Luke, and the grill is hot.
God, I recognize all those.
Spent about 10,000 man hours on this.
I'm
Salvaged the
definitely
wood from an old Indians village in Nantucket.
I'm going to have to bail.
Your people would call it a hoopah?
I recognize the lines, but I got no clue.
Darn it.
So I'll just bail out today. Give someone else a chance.
T-Box,
Thanks, guys.
I appreciate
We
you, man.
appreciate you, Mr. T-Box.
913-388-1087.
Is it Mr. Box?
Sure, that's fine. We'll take a timeout, come back. More Zone next. We played for Johnny's Tavern, $25 we give away to Johnny's Tavern in Sports or Leisure. No questions that I had that I did not get an answer to. Sterling, you had one that was out there as we went to break. What's the answer to that one?
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
That's not the answer.
And Darcy, the answer is?
I don't know.
The movie is not called I Don't Know. Good try, though.
Meet the Parents.
Meet the Parents.
You can milk anything with nipples. Yeah, I have nipples. Greg, can you milk me? So,
how many of the movies that I do we think Darcy knows?
Very few.
I was going to say
Very
roughly
few.
20%.
And I watch a lot of movies. I just have never seen
good ones.
No.
Well, we know from the Rotten Tomatoes that he does on Wednesdays that...
Oh, I've seen none of those movies.
It's so great.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World?
Haven't seen that.
Party
What?
time. I don't even have...
This seems impossible.
Yeah, it's a gun rack, Wayne. A gun rack. I don't even have a gun, let alone miniguns that would necessitate a gun rack.
I love the
what am I going to do with a gun rack?
I love the fact that he'll say, well, it was before I was born. It was before I was born, too. I was born in 94. Maybe it came out in 92. It's a classic.
If you're not careful, Wayne, you're going to lose me. I already lost you. We broke up. Are you mental?
What a great movie.
Why is it if you kill a man in the heat of battle, it's called
the whole movie now?
heroic? But if you kill a man in the heat of passion, it's called murder.
I have heard that. I've heard that.
It's Ed
Donut
O'Neill.
Shop, yeah.
Ed O'Neill
One of my
drops
favorite
that
songs is actually a Chili Peppers song they made for the movie.
Fuck Sam. Oh, not that one. Okay,
No, that's
sorry.
not that one. That's a different one. That's
You
Jimi
know,
Hendrix.
you know. Oh, I know. I wanted to talk real quick about Andre Curtis because I've been dying to talk about Andre Curtis. All right. Can I talk about Pepe Sylvia? Can we talk about Pepe Sylvia, please? I've been dying to talk about Pepe Sylvia. I've been dying to... Boy, I hope somebody gets that reference.
I did. It's
Thank
Always
you.
Sunny.
Thank you.
I understood
Thank
that reference.
you. Thank you. Carol! There's no Carol in HR. Andre Curtis was hired by the Kansas City Chiefs to be the safeties coach. The Chiefs didn't have a safeties coach last year. They've had a safeties coach going back. I went back all the way to 2021. They have had a safeties coach every year except for last year. And some of the thoughts around that could be that maybe responsibilities were spread too thin by some coaches last year. And so they go out and bring back a safeties coach, which I think is interesting with the maybe backslide by Jaden Hicks from rookie to second year. That safeties coach, Donald D'Alicio, had been around for, he was a defensive assistant in 21. Then he was the safeties coach in 22, 23, and 24.
Yeah.
And then they didn't have a safeties coach last year. But they brought in Andre Curtis to be the safeties coach. And here's the question I would have is they have had a defensive coach that's also a run game coordinator under Spags. That has been Brendan Daly every year. Run game coordinator, Brendan Daly before Joe Colin was the defensive line and run game coordinator. Now he's linebacker, run game coordinator. Andre Curtis has been safeties and pass game coordinator at his recent spots. And I wonder if the Chiefs are getting on board with what other teams have done and having defensive run game and defensive pass game coordinators specifically. Because they've had a run game coordinator this entire time under Spags.
Sure.
But they haven't had a pass game coordinator. So is this a sign of change, too? Maybe of them saying, we're going to bring this guy in to coach safeties, but also he's going to be coordinating the pass game defense.
I like it. He's been with a lot of great defenses. He was obviously with Spags and Dave Merritt in New York with those great defenses. Then obviously he went to Seattle for a long time, no-fly zone. Also, again, if Dave Merritt gets a DC job somewhere, then you have someone with the same stylistic background as him, too.
True. Yeah, we'll see. Just thought that was interesting of his background, that his safeties, defensive backs, but the pass game coordinator defensively. Chiefs haven't had that. I wonder if they go that